John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Yes, good Monday morning. We are here. I am Andrew Salciunas. I'm back. I'm with John Kincade.
Good to see you.
He hasn't left. I'm now the guy that takes off every other day. You know, for a while, I was able to make jokes about John and Connor, who just seemed to never want to come to work anymore, and now I'm the one that's gone every other day.
Yeah, you're the one who's constantly doing that.
Yeah, let's see.
I got a couple days next week, so
Yeah.
I'll see you.
And then I have the end of June into July.
Right.
And then it's buckle up, because after that, it's no more vacation. I don't think I have a single day off in August, and then we got football season.
And I got a vacation week before I vacation from you permanently.
Oh, that's right. You're leaving us. I forgot all about
yeah,
that.
So I got that too. But we got a lot of work to get done.
Maybe that's why I'm taking time off.
Could be your theory, but we got a lot of stuff to get done before then.
Hell yeah, we do. And the Phillies really can't get anything done, which is sad.
Wait a minute. You sound more somber than I am on them.
I had a really bad realization this weekend.
What's
that? It's going back to what Jason Stark said to Unfiltered a couple of weeks ago. It's going back to what Jim Salisbury said to us, what Tim Kirchin said to us. It is so easy to just sit back and say, man, the Phillies might be one right-handed bat away from being legit contenders. I'm not saying they're contenders to win the division, because it's still up for grabs. I'm not talking about making the playoffs, because they will. I'm talking about being the Dodgers, who you dropped 2 of 3 against a couple weeks ago. I'm talking about being the Brewers, who you just dropped 2 of 3 against this weekend. There is nobody available. There are no right-handed bats unless it's guys, and the Phillies got a guy this weekend.
The Phillies have a guy,
They have numerous guys. The Phillies are if we did power rankings of having guys, the Phillies might be the 1 seed. They're quad A players. The guys they make trades for in June because Adolis Garcia gets hurt. And you're just acquiring names, guys with splits that you're going, well, maybe that right-handed bat against left-handed pitching will be the solution. This guy that's going to bounce around from team to team to team. It's either platoon, role, or journeyman.
So
that's the option for the Phillies, and that sucks.
You mean this has been what the Phillies have done for how long now?
How long have I been complaining?
This has been
3-4 years?
This has been their strategy for a while. That is on Dave Dombrowski. Dave Dombrowski, it is a war crime what he has done with the fourth to have the fourth largest payroll to play with. And to be that bad with building a roster is a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
Just there's nothing else. There's nothing else to say about it.
But
it's an absolute disgrace.
Here's the problem. He can't even fix it right now. And that's why I can't totally blame him for the market being the way the market is. That's why I would rather solve solutions instead of relying on trade deadlines every single year.
I'm not sure I want him to fix it. I'm not sure I want him to be the one to fix it. I would so much rather have Preston Mattingly making these decisions, making the decisions about how to go forward, because how you're given the pile of cash that he's been given, and you build this, oh boy, I almost said it, this crappy roster, and the terrible long-term contracts he's done. It's disgraceful. It's an absolute. I'm telling you, there should be a tribunal called, because it's war crimes against Dave Dombrowski. It's horrible, and this team is in a horrible position moving forward.
Yeah.
How long on Trey Turner's deal?
Well, and
how many more years? 8? Is it 8?
Yeah.
Or is it 7?
Look,
whatever it is.
But here's the deal: the Trey Turner thing. There's nothing you can do at this point, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's why this guy. I would prefer he does nothing again. I'd prefer he touches nothing.
So you want the roster, if you could just say, all right, snap my fingers, I avoided the trade deadline, this is the team.
No, I would just.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to win.
There's nothing. Well, I'm going to tell you why that's not going to happen, but in the course of the show today. But the idea is that they still can win playoff series. They still could have things go their way. They still could get hot. I still believe this team could get hot. I still believe that the guys on this team could have a magical little pixie dust run in them. So I'm not giving up on that thought of it. But the sooner the Dave Dombrowski era is over, the happier I will be. And it is I love Dave. One day you will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it will be well-deserved.
Absolutely.
Your resume says
One with numerous teams except one.
But I'm going to say, I don't know what the hell happened to your baseball acumen with what you were given and what you did with it. This reminds me of the Bible story of the guy that, the guy who has the big estate, and he has his sons, and he has the one son, and he gives them both. He gives them half of his estate, gives them their inheritance early, and the one goes off and does and spends it on hookers and partying and traveling the world, and the other son's the good son and works on the vineyard and does all that stuff.
Some might say you only live once.
Well, the son,
and back then,
well, the one son,
you only got like 30
YOLO
good
was
years,
a big
man.
Bible principle.
Well, the
I've read.
one son blows all the money, loses everything. The other son does the right stuff, and the father throws him a party when he comes back broke. I hate that Bible story. It's the Bible story I hate the most.
By the way, I remember being at church.
Dave Dombrowski thinks he's going to get that story.
I remember being at church when YOLO was a thing, and the priest was like, "Yo, this has to stop. Like we can't just all of a sudden ruin our lives this early on because of a song, YOLO." Anyways,
there you go.
the Phillies are in a really bad spot.
They're bad.
They are, well, they're not a bad team. They're a good team.
They're
They're
we
a good
had this
club.
fight on Friday.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna do it
They're
again.
a good club.
They're not.
The problem is they're not a top team, and that's what it's all about. And that's why I woke up this morning saying, yeah, I got to talk about this because there's all these dreams about players that we'll get to. But even if it's just the dream, you fall short of the dream, there's a cliff. Before we get into the Trout talk, like Mike Trout's a dream. Byron Buxton is a dream for people. There is a cliff. There's no like guy where you're like, that's a solid pickup that you can make. There's no Eugenio Suarez like last year when we were talking about that. There doesn't seem to be a solid, all right, we can get that guy.
Nope.
The only two names that popped up randomly this weekend, one is Joe Adell, who we're going to be talking about for like the rest of our lives as a future Philly, good outfielder, but strikes out a ton. He'd fit right at home here. And then there's Seiya Suzuki for the Cubs. I don't know why they would give up this early. I see his name being popped up.
The Cubs are not giving up on anything.
They're having a rough go with it this year. I don't see why they would all of a sudden give up on a guy that can play the way that he plays.
The Cubs
that one was surprising.
And they're right there in the wild card race. Why are the Cubs with a good payroll? Why do you think they're giving up? I mean, people are like, yeah, well, they're going to give up. No, they're not giving up.
Well, it's going to be interesting because you got to look at the cap structure as well. Like, this could be a screwy deadline where if we get closer, we do see teams do weird stuff with offloading contracts because of what could happen with the CBA.
Yeah, and Suzuki's a free agent after the season, so they might say, all right, we can stockpile some prospects for when this happens, for when this potential lockout and potential salary cap happens.
I think we need to say we need to stop saying potential lockout because it's happening.
It's going to happen.
It's happening. And baseball's going to run itself into off of a cliff. And then we're going to say, but it's absolutely necessary. It's necessary to fix this sport.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen, but hopefully it goes quickly.
Yep, hopefully. It just sucks. There doesn't seem to be a solution for the Phillies. So for all the fear of right-handed bat, well, I don't think you're going to get your wishes granted. And there's now talks about back end of the bullpen. We have to talk about starting pitching. We'll get into all that coming up in a couple of minutes. But let's talk about Trey Turner, Johnny. We have to.
Can we?
We have to. I mean, this guy is
stealing money.
He's horrible this year. All
How
right?
about in the field too?
Yeah, he's horrible in the field too.
Atrocious. He's awful.
Last year, credit to him for being the batting champion, right?
Yeah.
And the year before that, he had a good regular season. Playoffs, not at all. It's been a disaster, right? In terms of what you are paying him. I know there are a lot of people that try to fight the fight on social media saying his entire tenure has not been a disaster. You're right. He literally won the batting champion last year and 2 years ago had an all-star season. He played well, but this isn't what you paid for. What you paid for, we're talking about a right-handed bat. Why? Because of this guy.
Because he cannot perform.
We're talking about a right-handed bat because Nick Castellanos did not perform. It's so great for me to yell and scream into his microphone and say Dave Dombrowski needs a trade for a right-handed bat. But really, let's face it, the two guys that got paid a handsome amount of money, Trey Turner even more than Castellanos, them being disappointments ultimately for what you paid for, that's the reason why we're having these conversations.
And Trey Turner, just a disappointment of the highest regard, because you went and paid a contract that was just stupid money for a guy that was never a player of that caliber. He was never a player that was a franchise changer. You paid him franchise-changing contract, and he was never that player.
I mean, he was all MLB at shortstop the year you signed him, right? So you could project that out. It certainly has not played out this way at all. But I can't.
I get what John's saying. Yeah. I would never have looked at him over Bryce Harper.
Nobody looked at him.
Class.
If Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, and Manny Machado were in that class together, they never would have been saying, well, Trey Turner's right there with Machado and Harper. He's not a franchise-changing player. He's not a player that teams go, you get him, you build around Trey Turner.
Yeah, but you know what he is? He's a franchise-adding player. And,
exactly.
If you got the guy that you got with the Nationals, or if you got the guy that played for the Dodgers, we might be talking about a different ending to some of these seasons for the Phillies. The problem is you haven't gotten that. You got it for a glimpse last year in the regular season, and then the playoffs happened, and it's the same guy. It's the same guy that melts. He seems to melt in these high-pressure situations here. I don't know why it's here. He won a World Series with the Nationals, right? That's a high-pressure situation. I think he won with the Dodgers. I forget, but those are high-pressure situations. He did just fine for those two teams.
And how old was he?
Well, he was in his early 20s, then mid-20s, and now he's in his 30s.
And now he's been paid the big money. He's a guy that since he's been paid the big money, he doesn't have – is there any sense of urgency with him at all? Any sense of urgency? Anything that looks like – I don't know how to answer
that question. I don't think he's happy that he's playing this way.
I don't care if he's happy. Is there any – does it ever look like he's in any way affected? Does it in any way look like he's affected?
He looks miserable, but I also don't know when he looks happy, to be honest.
Seriously, fair. He looks like Droopy the frickin' dog. And you know what? When I'm paying you $330 million, I'm not looking for you to be Droopy frickin' dog.
No.
I'm looking to you to be a veteran leader, one of the highest paid guys in baseball, in the sport. I'm looking at you to actually look like you might be enjoying yourself in your work. That you actually can show people by example what you're going to do. And by the way, if you're not working out and it's not working out, you're going to show people, well, guess what? I'm going to show you that I'm going to do every single thing that I can to turn this thing around. It's not happening.
Well,
what's happening is
it's just bad.
He says, and also too, it's the approach. Well, him and Kevin Long are really working at it on the broadcast. Hey, and Rube, I love you. Ruben Maurer, you know I love you. Is that if I hear one more? Well, him and Kevin Long have been in the lab. Hey, Rube, the lab is closed. The lab doesn't exist. It's not working. Whatever him and Kevin Long are doing doesn't work. It doesn't work. Whatever he's being told to do, it doesn't work.
Some would say it worked last year when he was the batting champion.
It's not the majority of his tenure. It hasn't worked. And then you got to cajole this guy. What do we got? Another standing ovation? Got to have another stand up and let's make you feel good for your $330 million paycheck. I'm so damn tired of it.
So
tired of it.
Here's Don Mattingly after yesterday's loss because the Phillies got shut out by the Brewers, dropping 2 of 3 to another team that they're looking up toward in terms of playoff power rankings. This was Don Mattingly, Magic Matt, on Trey Turner.
Something we'll look at and talk about. Nothing really other than just Trey's just not having success. Right now, when you're not having success, it never looks good. I know Trey's struggling to get it going and all that, but we'll look at it day to day where he's at, and over the next probably, let's say 2 weeks to 3, we're going to try to make sure guys getting off their feet a little bit. So. And Trey be possibly one of those guys too, just like everybody else.
A benching is coming. In other words, one of those take a couple days off,
2-day rest.
See what you can do.
Alec Boehm had that and actually started playing pretty well afterward because Don touched him with his magic hands. He touched Alec Boehm.
Well,
on the shoulders.
I don't
and
know
said,
what
you
2
got
days
this.
off.
I believe
Okay,
in you.
You had 3 days off last week. We'll see
Yes.
if it really works on your performance today. Because I mean, you seem very enthused.
coming out the
You seem
gate
very
pretty
good.
strong.
You're coming out of the gate strong and everything like that. Except that this team and him, it's just so infuriating. It's absolutely, and he is a infuriating character for this club, and he does the same crap night after night. Nothing changes. His strike zone awareness is horrendous.
Oh, it's really bad.
Horrendous. He's got one of the worst awareness of the strike zones in Major League Baseball. He's terrible. He looks like he's at Topgolf. We got on Nick Castellanos in this town for swinging at garbage.
Yeah.
This is a $330 million player.
One
This
player
is-
was outspoken. One player
he's a good guy.
Well, I don't know if it's a good guy. I think
He's a
it's-
good guy.
Trey Turner's kind of irrelevant at times.
He chose us.
He's like Paul George.
He
Like,
chose.
let's be honest.
He chose.
Too good of a
Hey,
comparison.
here's what I'm going to say. No, here's the comparison, and I waited for it. I want you, from this day forward, to do what you should have been doing all along, and I never thought of it. He's Tobias Harris, dude. In worse.
Yeah.
And it's worse. And it's worse.
Good comp.
He's worse than Tobias Harris because the contract is far worse to this franchise. It's far worse
Max
to this.
slot.
It's far worse to this franchise because you know what? Coop is going to be out of middle school.
Oh, yeah.
Coop's going to be out of middle school.
I'll buy him a Trey Turner jersey when it goes on sale.
He will be out of middle school by the time you're out from under this garbage. This contract. He'll be out of middle school. Think about that. That's why I want you to give him the Tobias Harris treatment.
Thanks a lot, man.
No, it's the truth.
Makes me think of middle school.
No, but that's what it's going to be. You're going to be at a middle school graduation, which is crazy that they do that. But a middle school graduation, and you're going to be saying to yourself, wow, they're still paying Trey Turner.
I was recently planning a vacation where it hit me that Coop would be 8 years old when we went on it. And I was like, wow.
See?
I don't like that at all.
There you go.
All right, so let's talk about intrigue. Not about realistic trades or magical trades that probably will not happen.
Probably.
You have 4 options, and maybe this is our poll of the day, brought to us by Dr. Avidan Appel and the team at Iron Mountain Men's Health. Some of us need them. All right, Doc? You have 4 options. Back-end starter. My God, I can't believe we're doing this. Back-end relief pitcher, because I don't think everybody's loving the Brad Keller experiment.
Loving it?
Experience. Yeah. Right-handed outfield bat. Yes, they just acquired one, but with all due respect to Derek Hill or Derek Hall, whoever's, Derek Hall was the former Philly.
Whatever happened to that guy?
Exactly.
Everybody loved Derek Hall because he could hit the horrible Nationals pitching, but nobody else. Or a right-handed utility guy. And the reason why I specifically say right-handed utility guy is Trey Turner. You need to be able to have a guy, and people can tell me it's Edmundo Sosa. I get it. We love him. They love Sosa. He's fallen off a little bit since his 2-week start to the season because this is what we try to tell you all the time. Once you play a guy a little bit too much, it's not an everyday player. You start to get exposed a little bit. I still love Edmundo Sosa for the role that he plays. But if I'm talking about Trey Turner being a huge minus at shortstop, we still have questions about second base every other day. We have questions about third base every other day, whether or not the power numbers are there.
We did the whole thing on Trey Turner. We didn't even talk about that he is the biggest butcher in Major League Baseball again. And I've been calling it for years. He's horrible. He's the worst defensive shortstop in baseball.
So you need a guy.
And he is the worst defensive shortstop in baseball.
If you're relying
He's
on
killing you.
pitching, which right now, what else is this team relying
He
on?
can't make routine plays. Plays.
You might need to consider a better fielding shortstop. So we'll talk about this coming up next at 610-632-0975. You can be in the conversation as well. Davis on a text line, voice memos, phone calls. If you were to pick and you said, all right, Dombo, I need you to acquire one piece. And of the 4 options, you have back-end starter because Andrew Painter stinks right now. Back-end relief pitcher because Brad Keller stinks right now. Right-handed outfield bat because the entire outfield stinks right now except for Brandon Marsh. Or right-handed utility guy because I don't know what your other options are. To John's point that he will make coming up next, because I would love to have the Mike Trout talk.
I almost brought a pitcher. I almost brought a picture today, and it's so funny that you use this term.
What term?
Dropping a cold water on it. I almost brought a picture today just for the visual.
Why can't we have Mike Trout? Well, maybe John Kincade will give us the most logical reason why we can't have Mike Trout.
Stupid.
And unfortunately, it was supposed to be the thing that Dave Dombrowski was going to fix. We'll get more into that coming up next. You can be a part of the conversation, 610-632-0975. I'm sorry. I'm coming out the gate negative, Andy. Phillies are in a bad spot. They're a good baseball team. They're a good club.
Good club.
They'll make the playoffs. They're going to contend for the National League East. They're 8 games back. They gained ground this weekend despite dropping 2 of 3. But where's this right-handed savior that we're looking for, have been looking for years? And Dave Dombrowski's answer has been old. There's nobody out there except for like one guy that you're going to have to pay a lot of.
Oh, it's bad.
I don't think you have it. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about that FanDuel Sportsbook app because we have soccer to bet on. I know Johnny the K has been breaking down.
I've been watching, though.
Country after country. He knows everything about their alignments.
Nah, I didn't even know Ivory Coast was a country.
He knows about their kits. He knows about the pitches. He knows everything about them. On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Well, not anymore. This is really cool. You got a little bit of an insurance policy here with FanDuel. With FanDuel Super Sub, if the player you bet on is subbed out, your bet stays in. So if you had a guy to score a goal and he gets taken out of the game, whoever goes in for them, that player is now your anytime goal scorer. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until that final whistle. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. You got to be 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies shut out twice. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies dropped their series in Milwaukee, losing 2 games via the shutout, including a 4-0 loss in yesterday's series finale. Christopher Sanchez allowed 4 earned to just 5 2/3 innings worth of work, a rough start for him by his standards. Meanwhile, the Phils were only able to scrape out 4 hits themselves, not nearly enough to find a win. And last week, we heard from Jim Salisbury about what was going on with the team and really the search for another right-handed bat.
I expected them to look for a right-handed bat at the deadline. In fact, I'm sure that search had already begun. We'll see if this injury expedites that search and a potential transaction.
Well, clearly with continuing issues for the offense, the Phillies could use it. A couple names popped up over the weekend. Angels outfielder Joe Adell and Cubs outfielder Seiya Suzuki are 2 names reportedly on the Phillies' radar. They start a series with the Marlins tonight in Philly. 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Zach Wheeler faces Ryan Gusto on the mound. The NBA and NHL Finals finished up over the weekend. Knicks took down the Spurs 4-1 to win the NBA Finals. The Hurricanes beat the Golden Knights 4-2 in that series to win the Stanley Cup. And Team USA won their opening match of the World Cup group stage Friday night over Paraguay. They currently lead Group D. They'll play again on Friday. We'll talk to Tim Kelly, Vaughn Pattison at 9:30 about those Phils. This update is brought to you by Modelo. Join Ricky Batalico Friday, June 19th from 7 to 9 p.m. at Independence Beer Garden in Old City for Modelo Match Night. Enjoy $6 Modelo drafts, soccer giveaways, and match day excitement. Details on 975thefanatic.com.
Is the plan to keep Joel, and can you say with 100% certainty that Joel Embiid is back for 2026?
Yeah, Joel's ours right now. I've had great conversations with him. We FaceTimed. I'm actually going to see him in a couple days to kind of sit down in person with him. But, you know, we just got to get Joel on the court. You know, obviously when he plays, we're really good. He's still a dominant force. I mean, he can get 25 in his sleep. And I know he's self-motivated. You know, obviously he doesn't like the questions about him not being available. But, he wants to play. He wants to be on the court, and that's on me. That's on our whole staff and Nick and the whole building to get him to his best self.
There is no reason to panic about the Jalen Carter contract situation. And lo and behold, John Kincade this morning did exactly what I thought he would.
Price is wrong.
Went on this morning, Bill's 100% wrong. We need to be concerned. If they don't get a contract in place in 6 weeks, literally, he said 6 weeks 4 times, in 6 weeks by training camp, Jalen Carter might hold in. He might show up and not participate. He might this, he might that, he might this. Guess what? I could die walking out of here.
I got a question.
That could happen too in the next 6 weeks. But I don't want people to panic, Ricky Bo. There is still 6 weeks to go. Yes, they are in negotiations with Jalen Carter. I was told by the Philadelphia Eagles they fully expect to get the contract done. And under the current NFLPA agreement, you can't hold out. We saw what happened to Hassan Reddick. You could go back to what happened with Le'Veon Bell. Jalen Carter's under contract for 2 more years. He's got this year. He's got next year under the 5th-year option. Yes, would you like them to get this deal done sooner rather than later? Of course you would. But on June 10th and now June 11th, to be trying to get all-out panic about this situation is absurd.
The Eagles have a culture. And it's really weird, though, what surprises me. And I go back to the first segment and you sort of saying to me, I don't care about all that stuff with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and everything. You don't value it. I do. I so value the mentality of having players that want to be football players over celebrities first. There is zero question in my mind, zero, that Jackson Dart loves being a celebrity and is enjoying being a celebrity. And to me, I think that's great for Eagles fans. I think it's awesome because he hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he's loving being a celebrity. Scatterbo cannot help himself but to be out and about being a celebrity, being spotted. Where has he been? What's he doing? What's he been? I love it. Let them be living that life. Where can we be? Where can we walk a red carpet? Where can we be seen? I will take life with Jalen Hurts, boring-ass Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley, who literally are as boring as white milk and saltine crackers. And I will I'll take it all day long because I think you win with players like that. This hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
All right, 6:30 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll check the poll of the day later on this hour. I know Connor has got it up, thanks to Dr. Avedon Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health.
Not his neck, though.
The Phillies are in another awful spot.
Yep.
And it just hit me this weekend. Like, I can have all the fun in the world. Like, look, we know what people do in this industry, John. Like, they say things that they don't truly believe, right? So
a lot of people do, and we've thankfully on this show tried to not do that.
I could do the I want Mike Trout show, but I think too logically, where in the back of my mind, I know that they're not going to get Mike Trout. And your email is part of the reason why. So, John, I would like you to address the people that would want Mike Trout. And I want him because I don't think there's another difference maker out there. Let's make that clear. Like, there is not think about the right-handed bats you've acquired the last couple of years. Austin Hayes. Like, you've acquired guys, much like your entire farm system that you call up, the Felix Reyes, the Otto Kemps. They're all
you would love to have
guys.
Right. Now let's just say something. Connor, if the Phillies had the resources, you'd love to see them get Mike Trout.
Done deal. Yes.
Yes, at this stage, because they got nothing left.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 3 for 3, we'd all love to see it happen. I'll take off the glasses, Rodman, just for effect. We're hopefully going to be able to be the show that doesn't do this to you. We're hopefully going to be the show that treats you like adults and doesn't give you show upon show of, should the Phillies trade for Mike Trout? Should the Phillies trade for Scooble? Because you know what? Here, kids, the Phillies don't have what it takes to get either player. Spoiler alert. They don't have the quality of talent that it would take to get the two most sought-after players that could be available at the trade deadline. Now, there will be a lot of gas bags in this market. Hopefully they're not in this building that will tell you, oh, they should go get Scooble. They should go get Mike Trout. They can't get Mike Trout. Here's the reason. The Phillies have problems right now. Can they go to their minor league system and go get some top prospects? Somebody to call up that everybody would say, hey, this could solve a problem? Andrew was just talking about it. Hell no. It looks like the picked over shelves at a Giant the day before a blizzard. They got nobody. Nobody's coming to save the day from the minor league system. There is nothing coming to help the problem. So if you don't have prospects that are ready to come up and ready to help you at the major league level, how do you think you are going to be able to get one of the top pitchers on the market or top players on the market? Especially one of the top players on the market who has every opportunity in his entire career to come here and play and has rejected it. Could have found his way here on his own and rejected it. Would rather play in anonymity in the shadow of Disneyland. No. What is the Phillies don't have it. You know who does? The Dodgers, the Braves, the Yankees, other franchises who are contenders that are right now, by the way, teams that are better. The Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers. A team that people constantly tell you is there's lots of teams that are right now better built than the Phillies with better minor league systems. You don't have what it takes to land these players. So if you are going to pollute your brain with, should the Phillies trade for Trout? They don't have what it takes. What do you think they could offer? Stott, Bohm, and
maybe 4 years ago.
Otto Kemp? Are you kidding me? The Phillies don't have anything to offer them. What are you doing talking about this garbage? I'm going to treat you like an adult, and I'm hoping that Connor and Andrew are going to do the same. And if they don't, I will call them out for it, and I'll call everybody out for it.
Hand raised.
That includes my partners on this station.
Hand raised. I've never heard the term gas bag before.
Yeah, I didn't know that was
I
a thing.
Googled it. You hit it perfectly. A gas bag, Connor, is a talkative, boastful, or annoying person who talks too much but says very little of substance.
Yes, because anybody who's doing a show in the Philadelphia market saying, should the Phillies trade for Skubal? Should the Phillies trade for Mike Trout? Have you seen some of the proposed trade packages for Tarek Skubal? Every single one of the trade packages that's being proposed. Like there is a trade package from the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And a trade package from the Braves.
I imagine it includes a top prospect, ready to play player.
How about three? No, how about three?
Yeah.
3 prospects.
Phillies have 2 in the top 100.
And how about the prospects being offered by the Braves and the Dodgers are better than anything the Phillies have?
Hey, Aiden Miller's 14th highest prospect in Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
the Braves don't have anybody in the top 15.
With his wonky back. Yeah, sure it is. Yeah, go check.
By the way, synonyms for gas bag, windbag, blowhard, blabbermouth, and motormouth.
That could work.
All great terms.
All fantastic.
That could work.
Blowhard is probably the best one.
But here it is. So stop it. Stop with the Mike Trout stuff. Stop with the Skubal stuff. Because what are the Phillies going to offer? Just, if you could tell me the package the Phillies could offer that would rival what Dodgers, Braves, Yankees, the teams that have actual like minor league systems to deal with, the Phillies don't have.
What you don't know is your final day is July 31st. You don't know that you are a part of the package.
I didn't realize that.
You would be traded to either Detroit or L.A.
Oh, first of all, Gavin Newsom is not getting me. He got my portion of my Price is Right.
So you're going to go to Detroit. So
yeah, and I'm not going to.
John Kincade is a part of the Tarek Skubal package.
I do have my carry permit, but I'm not moving to Detroit either. That was not on. It's not on the short list of places.
Did you see John with a Glock?
I do.
No.
Why?
No, I'm saying I know that you have one. I'm saying, can you see it though? Can you see John walking around with a piece? Because I can't see it.
Well,
I have not seen it, I can't see it.
Well, if we go to Detroit, we will not be going to Detroit. If you have Detroit on your bingo card, with all due respect, great people.
Dude, I can't see you carrying around Westchester.
It will not
Detroit.
be. Well, hopefully, Landview, Pennsylvania, we don't need to carry around pistols.
Mike Trout would be, honestly, perfect for a million reasons. One, right-handed bat that provides pop, that can bat at the top or middle of your order. 2, he is a good fielding outfielder, something that you need, especially with Adolis Garcia getting hurt because his bat was horrible, but we knew that he could play really good right field.
When does Trout get hurt?
3, he fits perfectly with the contracts, old and expensive.
You know what it's going to be? I worry about it, though. I worry about you two doing this show. I worry about all of our people. I worry about it that it's going to be, you're going to go through, the dark days are coming.
I already survived a drought, man.
Well, the dark days are coming.
I was here all 10 years during the drought.
Well, the dark days are coming because this is what Dave Dombrowski has done to this. Honestly, there should be a tribunal.
Yeah.
There should be a tribunal called.
He set them up in a horrible spot now and in the future, which is why it sucks to say at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Monday after taking a couple of days off that the Phillies are in a horrific spot because there are no guys out there that are going to be game-changing for this team. That you know who are the game changers? Trey Turner turns this season around.
Correct.
He's the game changer.
Trey Turner could be a much better player in the second half of the year, and they better hope that he is.
He has to be because he's better than anybody that they acquire. Anybody will never be the level of what Trey Turner is supposed to be. Can be.
Correct.
Because they're not available. They're just not available. That freaking sucks. So, Trey, wake up. No standing ovations. Wake up.
Now, you are either, Connor, line is drawn in the sand. You're either with me or against me. And we've never been against it. We've been a counter on this. There is any trade for Trout talk or trade for Skubal talk is unfair to our audience because it's stupid. And we have never done stupid topics, stupid stuff. This team doesn't have what it takes to get a top target in trade.
Skubal, absolutely not. Trout, there's a world. Now, that world might be 5% or less, and even that's being generous.
Because of the contract.
Because of the contract, you're saying?
And you're the team that's willing to take it.
Okay, I do not think Connor Thomas is a moron for that take.
Thank
I don't
you.
think
What
that
do
is
you think I'm a moron?
I don't think. Well, believe me, there's a list. There's a list. I'll have it on the 31st of next month. I don't think that is a moronic counter. That in some world, if there was no market for Trout because everybody knows he's going to break down again, it's a shame his body broke down really, really young, which is odd for a player, young talent like that with all that power and everything. Doesn't happen often. That there could be a lot of teams that don't want to pay that money because he's just always hurt.
Yeah, he is.
He has already asked,
right at home in Philadelphia, man.
He's already asked, can he wear Embiid's number? So reportedly, his camp has said, if he was to be traded, can he wear Embiid's number? That's the word.
All right.
We don't know.
Coming up next, we will check the text line. We will check the poll of the day because right now your options aren't great. None of them will be franchise-changing trades.
They're at the dollar store.
It would be franchise-adding trades.
They're at the dollar store. They're shopping at the dollar store.
Because that superior right-handed bat will not be available, you have 4 options. Right-handed outfield bat that we're going to be disappointed when we hear the name of. Like bottom line, right? Like when you hear the name, you're going to be like, oh, that's it? Well, yeah, that's it because that's all that's available. Right-handed utility guy that could play in the infield.
Got lots of those.
Back-end bullpen arm because Brad Keller's been a disappointment.
Oof.
Or back-end starter because Andrew Painter's been worse. 610-632-0975. We'll check the text line and the poll, but also Philadelphia was center stage last night. We'll react to it here on The Fanatic.
John Marks.
I'd be surprised if Jalen.
Do we believe what he's doing right now? What do you think?
That's a rough question, Ricky.
Well, it's a loaded one, of course.
It is. The jury for me is still so out. I mean, the past week offered some reason to think it's still in there. Did we think that before? I don't know anybody who did. On the other hand, even if you look at this past week, it's a 241 batting average with 0 walks over the last 8 games. But there's 3 homers and a double in there. And I think within that, there's some signs this might not be the disaster than people thought it was. And like the reason to think that is his swing now is just totally different than it was in spring training and even what it was a few weeks ago. He's moved back in the box. He's opened up more than we've ever seen him. He's not pointing that bat at the pitcher anymore, which made his setup so long, so slow. I just don't know what it means yet. I keep thinking back to that 2023 postseason. I'm sure you guys remember it well. That dude homered 5 games in a row in the LCS and World Series. But since the second half of that next season, 2024, I can only find 2 other weeks like this one where he even hit 3 bombs in a week. So, let's see what the next week looks like. I would just say I still think he's going to get a lot of runway. I mean, there's no one literally to replace him out there. There's no star right-handed hitting right fielder they can go trade for.
So let's do that. Now, Andrew Salciunas has the day off today. It is not because of a clip that went viral from our show last week about Jalen Hurts. He's got regular vacation, but he was getting ripped because he said his number one question for the Eagles this year is about Jalen Hurts' performance at the quarterback position with the change in offense, Sean Mannion now taking over. What is your evaluation of that? Is that your number one question?
My number one question for this team this year would be if the offensive line can stay healthy and hold up. And it's not a very sexy question, right? Like, if the offensive line isn't healthy, we can't get Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson back to health, I don't care what plays Sean Mannion's calling. They're not going to have much of a chance. The offensive line has to be better. It has to be healthier. They've been the foundation of that team for so long. They've been responsible for so much success. We're talking about elite, all-time Eagle talents. So I don't say this in a critical way, but I say it in a way in which the offensive line has had to play through some injuries, and it's aging. And are they going to hold up and hold together? If they do, it's going to be a great season. If they don't, it's not. To me, that's where it starts.
47-year-old Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. We'll get to our texts and our polls coming up here in a little bit. But Philadelphia was center stage last night, Johnny. We had a little FIFA World Cup action at Lincoln Financial Field yesterday. Ivory Coast with a late net. Is that what they say on the pitch?
A late net?
Late net.
I don't think so.
I've never heard that.
A late score to beat Ecuador 1-0.
Okay. Did you know Connor said, I think you said before you did. I did not know Ivory Coast as a nation. I did not know. I couldn't have told you where Ivory Coast was on a map.
I'll be honest. I never knew that Ivory Coast and Cote
d'Ivoire.
I didn't know that they were two different, or they were the same place. I thought they were two different places.
See, I thought they were two different places.
Hand-raised.
Now, that's the thing, is that I did not know that they were the same, and I did not know Ivory Coast. I thought Ivory Coast, if I'd ever heard the term, I always thought it was just somebody describing an area.
The Caribbean.
The Caribbean, right.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was considered a nation.
Yeah, they're pretty darn good at soccer, too.
Well, they win
yesterday,
90th minute.
And by the way, the link looked amazing.
Yeah.
And the energy looked amazing, it translated so well on screen.
So
unbelievable.
We're not breaking down the match. We're breaking down the city. And Philadelphia was fantastic yesterday. And you and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Like, just be friendly to everybody that's here. And as you and I talked about, we are good at that. Like, this city is very good at, here, join us. Let's show you the cool spots. Let's do all that kind of stuff.
We're going to make you feel differently about Philly than you've heard.
And Ray Dunn was around with the people yesterday. He took the Broad Street line yesterday. He was hanging out with people from Ecuador or people that lived in the States but are from Ecuador, and they're obviously supporting their club. Their country.
Club.
I feel bad that apparently there was a lot of Ecuadorians there yesterday, and it was,
city was packed. All I saw was Ecuador jerseys over the weekend. Yeah.
The supposedly the hotels have done an amazing job, like of just hey, here's how to get to if you want to go see this historic site.
Yeah.
You want to go see this it's supposedly a great vibe downtown. I think it's awesome, and the city should be damn proud.
Yeah.
Especially after New York City has made himself look so idiotic
with
the last few days.
With the Knicks games.
It's so awesome to see Philly putting its best foot forward during this, and to see so many people come into our city and just being like, wow, it's awesome.
Yeah, because you hear about how horrible we are. You hear about how horrible the streets are and everything.
They're having a great time.
And look, I'm not saying that this city's perfect. No, what major city's perfect in the United States of America? None of them.
None.
But the fact that people from Ecuador can come here and the people from Ivory Coast can come here and have that experience, and the link looks beautiful yesterday. I mean, I know we're talking about a new stadium. I know Jeffrey Lurie wants to have a dome so that he can have events and all that kind of stuff for the city of Philadelphia. Yeah, get the hell out of here. I love you, Jeffrey Lurie, because what you have done for this franchise.
That's not what he cares about.
But, spare me the I want this for the city, the Super Bowl. What ticket am I buying? I'm not affording the Super Bowls that the Eagles are in, let alone two random teams.
By the way, 6,000 of his season ticket holders will get tickets. So stop with that. Stop with that. And by the way, do you think that Joe, the construction worker, is getting them?
No, he's not getting them. The link was beautiful last night, and that's something to take a lot of pride in, as Philadelphia will be hosting numerous games. The next one's Thursday here in the city.
I thought it was Friday because the Phillies are off Friday.
Friday, thank you. Friday, Brazil versus Haiti.
That's why the Phillies series with the Mets is Thursday,
the weird
Saturday,
off day.
Sunday.
Yes.
Because of the World Cup.
So Friday will be the next game at the link, 8:30 start. So beautiful night last night.
That's awesome. And great to see the city putting such a good foot forward. That's awesome.
One of my favorite things to this so far has been the content creators that have come to the States for the first time and not realizing a lot of the things that go on in the States. There's this one Italian guy.
Okay.
That found bottomless soda. Like, he did not know, like, that's not a thing in Europe. Like, you always have to pay for a refill. So he went to, like, a restaurant. He goes, what do you mean I can have as many of these as I want? He drank, like, 6 Cokes at lunch because he was like, I already paid for it.
Did you see the very attractive woman that
Which one?
She was from whoever it was out of she was down at the Atlanta matches.
Okay.
And she went to Buc-ee's. She went to a Buc-ee's and did her thing.
And she had a good time.
Yeah, she had a great time at the Buc-ee's and was
a lot of people around her had a great time too.
Yeah, it was quite a stir. Quite a stir.
How's the poll looking, Connor?
It's, well, for Phillies fans, it might not be encouraging, but the poll is indeed up, thanks to Dr. Avi Donatello of Iron Mountain Men's Health. Our poll question today is our main question. Of these options, which would you like to see the Phillies acquire at the trade deadline most? And it's back-end starter, back-end bullpen arm, right-handed outfield bat, or right-handed utility bat. Early returns here, so we'll see how this develops. Nobody's voted for anything but right-handed outfield bat. It is 100% right-handed outfield bat.
It's got to be, right? By the way, Connor, so I'm going to bring up something that you brought up with me the other day. Okay? You're the Phillies bullpen. Phillies bullpen is not that good.
Well, that's why
it's subpar. And you were debating it with me the other day. We saw another weekend of it against a really good team. You like it?
Yeah, I don't think it's subpar. I think they're a better than average bullpen with a higher ceiling than what they've got right now. They're not going in a great stretch here, but we've seen really good Phillies bullpens of the past that look awesome in the regular season that get shelled in the postseason. Like
we have. That is correct.
Yeah, but I'd rather bet on that.
I'll take my chances
than the opposite of this bullpen sucks. But man, come playoff time, they're going to be good. Was this Jake Elliott?
I'd rather have that.
You just got to remember, right? Like with the guys you're relying on at the top of the rotation, if you can get through 7, 8, and 9 consistently, like what you're seeing now is a bunch of guys that won't be really throwing in the postseason. You need to find 4 guys.
Brad Keller?
And I think you got 2 locked down right now.
Well, and that's why.
Is Brad Keller going to be thrown in the postseason?
He could be.
He's going to have to.
Because he's ridiculously just annoying as hell.
The poll being 100% right-handed outfield bat, it makes the most sense. But what I don't think people are realizing yet, again, it's only 6:54 in the morning, so maybe they didn't hear the open. Who is it? Is it another team's Otto Kemp that you're going to get for a player to be named later? Cash considerations?
No, I'd be fine. I'd be fine with that because you're not getting Mike Trout. You're not getting, if you wanted a pitcher, you're not getting Skubal.
Right, but what I'm saying is, do you just double down on pitching at this point?
No. This team does not need to worry about more starting pitching. No.
All right, bullpen. I mean, pitching's also bullpen.
No. A bullpen arms I believe will be less this year as far as less options because there's more teams probably in it. But we don't know how weird this is going to be because of the pending lockout. But no, I can get bullpen arms. You usually can acquire multiple if you want at a trade deadline. This year you might only be able to get 1. No. I'll go with 1 bullpen arm. I can find one of those. I'm more worried about a back-end starter. because Andrew Painter should not be starting for this club.
You just said not to worry about pitching.
No, he's a back-end guy. I'm not worried about him. I'm talking about I'm not trading anything to go do that. I'm looking for some guy that's off the scrap heap, which, by the way, someone was upset with me the other day because I said that.
But that's the point. Basically, every option is scrap heap.
No.
Who's the right-handed bat that you go, yeah, that's a guy we need to get? There are none.
No, that is, but it's not scrap heap. There's different. First of all, you don't know who's available.
You're right.
You don't know.
Just like I didn't know Gabe Hill or whatever his name is was available.
What teams will part with?
5 strikeouts in 2 games.
Yeah,
he's looking good.
Welcome to the club, brother. All right, coming up next.
He found a home where he's very comfortable.
We reset our Phillies talk, but also a barroom discussion that John Kincade and I are on the same page of. I feel like that never happens.
That never happens.
It involves the Phillies, Sixers, and Flyers. That comes your way next here on the Fanatic. All right, let's talk about that wonderful company that is Family Company Jewelers. I love them. I get so happy. I was actually admiring the engagement ring that my beautiful wife is rocking still because it's so beautiful from Family Company Jewelers that I know that every time I go there, I'm going to walk out with something that she will be proudly rocking every day. Engagement ring, wedding band, first anniversary gift, first Mother's Day gift. But hey, sometimes it's about us too, guys. Father's Day. It's this Sunday. And I know that a lot of people out there want to show that the dads mean something to them. So show him that by getting him a gift that he loves. Get him a gift that shows how much you care. Family Company Jewelers, Route 70, Marlton, New Jersey, has a great selection of Father's Day gifts. Check out their collection of hand-forged pocket knives from William Henry, chains and bracelets from designers Philip Gabrielle and Samuel B. And, of course, they have watches from brands like Movado and Citizens. Ditch the ties and gift cards this year, unless it's a gift card to Family Company Jewelers, and let him pick himself. Get him something different, something that he can show off to all of his buddies. With the top 5-star ratings on Google's, and I'm one of them, you can trust Family Jewelers with your Father's Day gift this year. If you can't make it to the store, you can always shop online, familyjewelers.com. I would suggest go to the showroom, though, because everybody at that team is wonderful. They will help you every step of the way. They're great people, and there's a bar in the back. Family Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A rough series in Milwaukee. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies dropped their series in Milwaukee, losing 2 games via the shutout, including a 4-0 loss in yesterday's series finale. Christopher Sanchez allowed 4 earned in just 5 2/3 innings worth of work. An uncharacteristically rough start for him. Meanwhile, Phillies only had 4 hits in the game themselves. Anthony Sanfilippo of On Pattison joined us last week, and he talked about the sustainability, or maybe lack thereof, of the way the Phillies have been winning.
I'm not certain that the way they're winning games is ultimately sustainable. Almost every game is super close. I just worry that that's going to come back and bite them at some point.
And the Phillies are starting to look towards the trade deadline as we draw closer on potential names. Angels outfielder Joe Adell and Cubs outfielder Seiya Suzuki are 2 names reportedly on the Phillies' radar that popped up this weekend. They start a series with the Marlins tonight in Philly, 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Zach Wheeler on the mound against Ryan Gusto. The NBA and NHL finals finished up over the weekend. Knicks take down the Spurs 4-1. The Hurricanes beat the Golden Knights 4-2 to win the Stanley Cup. Team USA won their opening match of the World Cup group stage Friday night over Paraguay. They currently lead Group D. Game 2 for them is Friday against Australia. We'll talk to Tim Kelly of On Pattison coming up at 9:30 to figure out what's wrong with these Phillies. This update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, develops better athletes and better people through sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
plan to keep Joel, and can you say with 100% certainty that Joel Embiid is back for 2026?
Yeah, Joel's ours right now. I've had great conversations with him. We FaceTimed. I'm actually going to see him in a couple days to kind of sit down in person with him. But, we just got to get Joel on the court.
It is 7 a.m. here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. Talking a lot of Phillies this morning. How was the Eagles talk while I was out? They had mandatory minicamp come to an end. Anything special?
Nothing really special, though.
I like what Lane Johnson had to say about Chris Cooper and why he came back for year 14 and all that.
It was interesting to hear that when we talked about it with Andrew DeCecco, the idea that he said this is an offense I always wanted to play in.
Yeah,
I found that interesting. I found that really
he has been
odd and
very
interesting.
vocal about his appreciation for Shanahan over the years. Like it's not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've played each other
so often.
How many times in the NFC Championship game, this past wild card round, they played each other in the regular season, the year where everything went to crap in 2023.
Sure.
So I know he respects Shanahan a lot.
If you don't, he's one of those dirtbags who puts his towels out at the pool early. But you got to respect him as a football coach.
Yeah, and by the way,
coach.
I wonder if they realized what their bodies felt like after they won the Super Bowl. Jordan Mailata talked about it, like how his body was just not recovered the way it normally would be come OTAs. It wasn't because he was another year older. It's because they played 4 extra games. It's because of the way they played, the physicality in which they played. So maybe Lane Johnson loves us so much he signs up for another year.
No, maybe it's
they didn't draft the right tackle, so.
Here, you want a little you want a little tidbit?
Sure.
I was told that how Landon Dickerson has 2 years, and Landon made his deal for 2 years.
Yeah.
I was told maybe expect that a 2-year transition potentially for both of them.
Okay, I would like that. Sign me up.
So that could be the plan of then they have a real chance to build the succession plan.
I will say this, though, and this sounds like horrible and like almost like borderline sacrilegious because Lane Johnson's been. If it's another year, he's off the field every other play.
No. I get you. It's not a Jason Peters situation.
Correct.
Yeah.
Last year,
it was bad.
Everybody was hurt. Everybody was, right? Cam Jurgens was hurt. Landon Dickerson was hurt. So because Jordan Mailata was not himself, because everybody was hurt other than Tyler Steen, it kind of hid that Lane Johnson was walking off the field a lot.
Okay.
Like stingers. Or how many times did he walk off the field? A lot.
He did.
And so I really hope that we don't go through another year of that.
Okay.
It sounds sacrilegious because the dude's a freaking legend.
We don't want him ending his career here like Jason Peters did.
Yeah, well, and then Jason Peters then continued
correct
4 other places afterwards.
Lane won't do that.
All right.
And then you also have, because we brought up the Jalen Carter situation too, flipping to the opposite.
Where would you have fallen on that discussion?
I would imagine that we're talking Holden potentially. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been told it's going to be it's a Holden.
Yeah.
It's going to be unless it's not just going to be one of those Jordan Davis things where I'll play.
Yeah,
I'll just play.
I didn't agree with Bill doing the whole let's not panic thing.
Nobody wants to.
Right. I don't think it has to be panic or completely ignore. I think it's somewhere in the middle. And the reason why it's somewhere in the middle, what are we saying already on June? Because I heard Bill keep on saying, it's only June 10th. It's only June 10th. Well, what are we saying on June 15th? What were we saying on June 9th? What were we saying on June 8th? Who's going to lead them to success this year?
It's going to be the defense.
It's going to be the defense. And if your best player on defense is potentially not thrilled or might not be playing or holding and all this kind of stuff.
Drew Rosenhaus.
At the beginning of a season where we're going to be relying on the defense even more heavily. Why? New offensive coordinator. Oh, got to give him time. Got to be patient with the offense. Blah, blah, blah. The defense needs to be clicking on all cylinders to start. So I don't agree with Bill being like completely, I would say, ignorant to the fact that he might not be available at the start of training camp.
Not to mention what Bill's ignoring about the whole situation is that it is not the same. It's a Drew Rosenhaus situation.
Right.
It's not the same. And more importantly, with a player who has not been, let's just say, as diligent with his conditioning, a player who has not been as diligent with his professionalism.
Oh, yeah, both sides have a say on this.
I mean, there is a lot to it. There's a lot more to the story than just, they're going to get, I believe they'll get the deal done too. But this is just not nothing to see here. Bill is the guy in front of the building, Leslie Nielsen, in front of the burning building going, nothing to see here. Just keep moving, nothing to see here, which is ridiculous because there is not, there was nothing to keep Jalen Carter off the field at those minicamps.
Yeah.
Nothing. He was not banned because of his shoulders. The Eagles did not say to him, don't practice because of those shoulders. We don't want you practicing. Any talk of that is fan fiction. So he was being kept off because he wanted to.
Yeah, let's face it. And Jalen Carter's going to get paid one way or another, and it's going to be top of market money. Jalen Carter is getting paid based off of his ability to play football.
That is correct.
But the Philadelphia Eagles have every right to go, well, hold on a second. We need to make sure that it's going to be terminology in the contract, right?
Correct.
It's going to be incentives. It's going to be.
And the Eagles are going to want incentive. There's a reason the deal is not done.
Right.
There's a reason that this is, and it's not acrimonious. And I made that clear. There's a reason that it's not done.
Yeah. And both sides.
And there it is.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right. There's your Eagles talk. Phillies. We started off the show talking about how they're in a pretty bad spot. Not bad spot like they're not going to win games. Not bad spot like they're not going to make the playoffs. And there is still a world of possibility where they could still catch the Braves for the NL East. But what have we been talking about for 3 years now? It's not about that anymore. It's about winning the freaking World Series. And year in and year out, we have started seasons looking at the areas that will hurt the Phillies in the long run. And right-handed power bat has unfortunately been the same talking point since 2023, ever since Rhys Hoskins got hurt. And spare me the Rhys Hoskins talk.
I saw some of that.
There's nobody available. And that's what puts them in a horrible spot. We can say, our poll can say 100% of people are voting for right-handed outfield bat. And then if I ask you, well, who is that right-handed outfield bat that you want, there really is nobody to answer to. There's Joe Adele, who I like as a fielding outfielder, but he strikes out just as much as everybody else on this team. And then there's people are in love with the idea of Suzuki, who's a free agent at the end of the year. I don't know why the Cubs, unless they're getting a major haul, would do it because they're still trying to contend.
Yeah, they're trying to. The Cubs are absolutely trying to win this year.
They're one game out of the wild card right now.
The Cubs aren't going, yeah, we're done. We don't think we're good enough.
Unless they just think we're not going to re-sign. We might as well get something out of it. But you said it earlier. Who are the Phillies outbidding? Unless they overpay, who are they outbidding?
No, but the thing is overpay. What do they have to overpay with?
I mean, you could overpay.
You could
tell me
Gage
who
Wood
they got.
for Suzuki.
Okay,
that's an overpay.
Okay, but for a guy like Suzuki, yes, that could be an overpay. But they don't have the guys to be able to get what we were talking about, the Trout and the Scooble, which is the stupidest, maybe the stupidest trade talk that we've heard in Philly sports radio. And it will be perpetuated upon you in the coming weeks, so be prepared. So you can go for clickbait radio or you can listen to logic. It's ridiculous because the Phillies don't have guys who can come up and help this team. If they had the players the teams were interested in, they would have them up here. They'd be helping them. They'd be like, oh, yeah, well, there's this A-ball player that really is good. That's not getting you Scoop.
I thought they do. They have.
Yeah, that's not getting you Scoop.
Who's the 17-year-old?
Francisco Renteria.
Oh, yeah,
Francisco Renteria, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Edgar Renteria.
Is that like, the latest player that nobody's ever seen play that we're going to talk about?
Yeah, yes.
Who is the catcher?
Eduardo Tait. Yeah.
Tait.
The tears that were shed over a guy that nobody ever watched play baseball.
Oh, man, you can't trade Tait.
Hey, you know me. Trade them all.
Oh, I know you.
Yeah, trade them all. All
That's
right,
you.
what do we have on the Davis Honda text line? Field of Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. We're also there's no topic about Trey Turner. It's just if you want to complain about Trey Turner, feel free because
we're with you.
How about we pull the opposite effect? Instead of doing the standing ovation, how about we go back to what our DNA is all about? Let's just get extra angry about Trey Turner because he stinks right now.
He's
Don
terrible.
Mattingly said after the game yesterday that he would consider sitting him, giving up. he painted the picture that everybody might get a couple days off their feet as we get closer to the All-Star break. But it was asked specifically about Trey Turner, and he did not shoot down the idea that Trey Turner could take some time off. Here was Don Mattingly after the game yesterday on the Phillies shortstop.
Something we'll look at and talk about. Nothing really other than just Trey's just not having success. And right now, when you're not having success, it never looks good. I know Trey's struggling to get it going and all that, but we'll look at it day to day where he's at, and over the next probably, let's say 2 weeks to 3, we're going to try to make sure guys getting off their feet a little bit. So, and Trey be possibly one of those guys too, just like everybody else.
He laughed. He laughed at like he was thinking of, well, I got to start to take some of these guys off their feet and and then he's thinking about how can I say I'm not going to bench him, and he started to laugh.
Yeah, you know what's amazing, because we do this. You said I have to start calling him Tobias Harris, and show the same venom.
Much worse than Tobias Harris.
Was it a month ago where Jason Stark said Alec Boehm is unplayable, right? Like right now he is unplayable. They were still playing him because who else were you going to play over him? Like there was nobody else. You could say the same thing about Trey Turner right now. So Trey Turner
he's unplayable.
In the month of June, excuse me. Wow, we're in June.
We are.
He's batting 200 with 2 extra base hits. So he has 10 hits in the month of June, 8 singles, 2 doubles. Do you guys know what his walk to strikeout ratio is right now?
I'm going to guess bad.
I'm going to guess 3-1.
He has walked 3 times and he struck out 15 times. 5-1.
That's unbelievable.
He's getting paid $300 million.
330, but
$330 million. Who's counting? He has struck out in this month 15 times. He's walked 3. Now, if he was hitting 7 home runs during the span, you go, all right, you deal with it. It's like Schwarber, right? You deal with the strikeouts and all that kind of stuff. But he's not doing anything.
Can we?
And he stinks at shortstop.
And he is he is atrocious.
So if his name wasn't Trey Turner, I wonder what we'd be saying. Like Jason Stark just last month. I'm not calling Jason Stark out. I'm saying Jason Stark said about Alec Boehm, and he was right that he was unplayable at that point. Would Jason Stark come on the air this week and say Trey Turner is unplayable?
Well, that's why we're going to hear him on Unfiltered later this week, and he'll talk about it.
Can you send that to Bill? Ask him.
I had the propeller heads sending me stuff going, well, Trey, if you go by this statistic, he really is not that bad at shortstop. He isn't. He's the worst shortstop in baseball. He's terrible. What the hell? Make up any statistic you want, nerd boys. He's awful. He's terrible. They got to stop. It's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's got to stop at some point. I don't know when it's going to stop, but it's got to stop at some point.
All right, let's make matters worse. Or better.
Oh.
Who knows?
Who knows?
John Kincade asked me a question this morning, and then he told me it was actually a barroom debate that he overheard.
There you go.
And you and I are on the same page. I'm hoping Connor's on the same page, but part of me thinks he's not.
Okay.
Go ahead. What was the discussion that you overheard about champions?
Well, I mean, if it's just if you're okay, let me get to this. As far as phrase it, set it up better for me so it sits better. As far as champions. Like the context that you heard it.
You asked me if I feel better because the Canes won.
Okay. I said to Andrew, do you feel better because the Sixers and the Flyers both lost to the champions? And yesterday at an event, guys were saying, yeah, I'm going to feel better if I'm rooting for the Canes because I'd rather see the Flyers lose to the champions. It doesn't mean one thing to me. That my team lost to the team that won the championship means nothing. Doesn't make me feel better. Doesn't make me go. Now I'm more impressed though with the Flyers after watching what other teams have done against the Hurricanes. I'm more impressed with what the Flyers managed to do when I've seen them. But it doesn't mean anything to me to be able to say, like, there's no badge of honor to be able to say, well, yeah, lost to the champions.
Yeah, Canes a little bit. Knicks absolutely not. Not even a remote thought in my head.
Is it more so the situation that is the Flyers and Sixers?
Yeah, exactly.
Like Sixers get no grace at this point.
Like, I mean,
but I don't like.
Does it mean more to you? Like if your team loses to a team and they lose the next round, Does that make you more pissed? Like if your team gets knocked out, if the Knicks had lost the next round, would that make you more pissed at the Sixers?
I don't think it's a blanket thing, but if the Knicks had gotten like completely their teeth kicked in the next round after sweeping the Sixers without giving them a chance, I'd be like, that does make it look worse, feel worse. But it's not the much bigger. Like 95+% of my reaction to all of this is dependent on what the team that I root for did.
Yeah.
There might be a little bit of influence based on what the team you've lost to.
I couldn't believe it because the majority, the guys that were talking, the majority of them were in my generation. And I said, you guys sound so damn soft.
Did they feel better that the Dodgers won the World Series last year?
That's what I'm like. I said, I can't get over this.
Because the Phillies have pissed me off the last 3 postseasons, right? Like legitimately made me angry. The NLCS against the Diamondbacks made me angry. The lay down series against the Mets made me angry. And then even though they had a good club and they were 1 pitch away, won this, won that away, they lost in the first round again, and they shot themselves in the foot numerous times. I don't feel better that the Dodgers won the World Series. Like, that does nothing for me. So I don't – there are people that do feel that way, though, because they go, all right, at least we lost to the champion.
I said to them, I said, you sound so soft. I said, you absolutely sound so. You're sitting here trying to feel better about how the Sixers went out? Like a bunch of whimpering dogs? Like with no fight? And you're sitting here like going, oh, well, at least we lost to the world champions. Oh, kiss my backside. I was like, I can't even believe it. Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
You had no fight. You had no fight in you.
No, it does nothing for me. Like, once the series is over, the season is over, and I'm on to next year. I'm not on to, like, I watch. Don't get me wrong. I was watching Knicks Spurs, but, like, I wasn't watching for a Sixers standpoint. The only thing I was watching was, wow, look how far off we are. Like, that's the only information. I don't get good feelings that if the team that beats you wins the championship. The only feelings I get is, are we close or are we not? Like, I get information.
Yeah,
it's not like feelings.
I mean,
unless it's are we far off, then I start feeling depressed.
But that's what I sort of feel is like people are finding something about it. Like they're feeling a certain way about it. I'm like, don't feel that way.
Well, there's also people that are talking themselves into if the Sixers stay healthy, blah, blah, blah. Like I read another article this morning on ESPN, getting ready for the show, about the Sixers' top priority this offseason, because they won't be able to move on from the contracts, is to re-sign Kelly Oubre and Quentin Grimes. And I'm just like, these guys do nothing for me. They're, like, sure, Kelly Oubre is a solid player for the Sixers, and Quentin Grimes had 1 game in the playoffs. But, like, is that going to all of a sudden have you compete with the Knicks?
No.
Do not think so. Nope.
I know people are going to say, oh, you can't punt. Honestly, at this point, what is the point?
I can tell you, though. I said, and I told Shukri this morning, the number one thing that I love about the Knicks winning, and there's nothing I didn't root for the Knicks. I would never root for the Knicks. I was rooting for the Spurs to win, wanted to see the Spurs win, don't want to see New York win anything. But there is something I can admire about them. They are the franchise that says ridiculous load management, load management in games, load management over the course of a season. They ignore load management. They don't believe in load management.
They also don't agree with the 3 stars technique. They have a lot of very good players, don't get me wrong, but they have one of the deepest benches, and
they play everybody.
And they pay into the tax.
And to the great Jay Wright, who we have to acknowledge, even though he coached at that school, the great Jay Wright, the work ethic, the attitude, it carries over into the pros. These guys believe, oh, I'm being paid all this money and everything. Oh, that means there's an 82-game schedule? Well, I'm not here to play 50. I'm not here to play 60. I'm not here to have nights off when I'm healthy. I'm here to play. And look at the Knicks roster.
Yeah.
And they don't do load management. And they don't do load management in games.
It also helps that you just sweep every team and then you get
no,
2 weeks off.
No, I'm talking about 82. No, I'm talking about the 82-game schedule. They don't take the regular season as, oh, well, this guy's got to have his 12, 15 games off, 20 games off. They don't do that. They come to work. They actually respect their fan base. They respect their ticket buying public. They respect they say, we're here to play. And so for that, I respect the Knicks.
And the Knicks fans
Their fan base, a
responded,
bunch of
thanking
idiots.
them by burning buses and destroying taxi cabs.
What a bunch
and
of idiots.
beating the crap out of each other. That's one way to show your appreciation. Speaking of, coming up next, Johnny.
That's amazing.
We just asked you whether or not you feel better about your team when the team that beat you wins the whole thing. What about being happy for the team that wins the whole thing? There was a wild take this weekend that kind of went exactly the way I thought it would on social media. We'll get into that coming up next. It is Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils fall to the Brewers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies dropped their series in Milwaukee, losing 2 games via the shutout, including a 4-0 loss yesterday in the series finale. Christopher Sanchez allowed all 4 of those runs earned in just 5 2/3 innings. A rough start for him. Meanwhile, the Phillies only had 4 hits in the game. The offense has been a rough spot recently, and the search for a new right-handed bat is on, but Jim Salisbury talked to us last week about that.
I expected them to look for a right-handed bat at the deadline. In fact, I'm sure that search had already begun. We'll see if this injury expedites that search and a potential transaction.
The injury he's talking about, Adolis Garcia, missing significant time with a right lat tear. Angels outfielder Joe Adell and Cubs outfielder Seiya Suzuki are 2 names reportedly on the Phillies' radar. We'll keep an eye on that as we draw closer to the deadline. They start a series with the Marlins tonight in Philly. 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Zach Wheeler faces Ryan Gusto. The NBA and NHL Finals finished up over the weekend. Knicks took down the Spurs 4-1 to win the NBA Finals. Hurricanes beat the Golden Knights 4-2 to win the Stanley Cup. Team USA won their opening match of the World Cup group stage Friday night, taking down Paraguay. Game 2 for them is on Friday against Australia. Tim Kelly, Yvonne Pattison joins us coming up at 9:30. This update is brought to you by Aleve. Whatever the forecast, aches and pains can cloud up a perfect day. With just one pill, Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief, so you're ready for sunny skies ahead. Use as directed. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Plays were really good. He's still a dominant force. I mean, he can get 25 in his sleep. And I know he's self-motivated. You know, obviously he doesn't like the questions about him not being available, but he wants to play. He wants to be on the court. And, you know, that's on me. That's on our whole staff and Nick and the whole building to get him to his best self.
There is no reason to panic about the Jalen Carter contract situation. And lo and behold, John Kincade this morning did exactly what I thought he would.
Price is wrong.
Went on this morning, Bill's 100% wrong. We need to be concerned. If they don't get a contract in place in 6 weeks, literally, he said 6 weeks 4 times. In 6 weeks by training camp, Jalen Carter might hold in. He might show up and not participate. He might this, he might that, he might this. Guess what? I could die walking out of here.
I got a question.
That could happen too in the next 6 weeks. But I don't want people to panic, Ricky Bo. There is still 6 weeks to go. Yes, they are in negotiations with Jalen Carter. I was told by the Philadelphia Eagles they fully expect to get the contract done. And under the current NFLPA agreement, you can't hold out. We saw what happened to Hassan Reddick. You could go back to what happened with Le'Veon Bell. Jalen Carter's under contract for 2 more years. He's got this year. He's got next year under the 5th-year option. Yes, would you like them to get this deal done sooner rather than later? Of course you would. But on June 10th and now June 11th, to be trying to get all-out panic about this situation is absurd.
the Eagles have a culture. And it's really weird, though, what surprises me. And I go back to the first segment and you sort of saying to me, I don't care about all that stuff with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and everything. You don't value it. I do. I so value the mentality of having players that want to be football players over celebrities first. There is zero question in my mind, zero, that Jackson Dart loves being a celebrity and is enjoying being a celebrity. And to me, I think that's great for Eagles fans. I think it's awesome because he hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he's loving being a celebrity. Scatterbo cannot help himself but to be out and about being a celebrity, being spotted. Where has he been? What's he doing? What's he been? I love it. Let them be living that life. Where can we be? Where can we walk a red carpet? Where can we be seen? I will take life with Jalen Hurts, boring-ass Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley, who literally are as boring as white milk and saltine crackers. And I will I'll take it all day long because I think you win with players like that.
Do we believe what he's doing right now? What do you think?
That's a rough question, Ricky.
Well, it's a loaded one, of course.
It is. The jury for me is still so out. I mean, the past week offered some reason to think it's still in there. Did we think that before? I don't know anybody who did. On the other hand, even if you look at this past week, it's a 241 batting average with 0 walks over the last 8 games. But there's 3 homers and a double in there. And I think within that, there's some signs this might not be the disaster than people thought it was. And like the reason to think that is his swing now is just totally different than it was in spring training and even what it was a few weeks ago. He's moved back in the box. He's opened up more than we've ever seen him. He's not pointing that bat at the pitcher anymore, which made his setup so long, so slow. I just don't know what it means yet. I keep thinking back to that 2023 postseason. I'm sure you guys remember it well. That dude homered 5 games in a row in the LCS and World Series. But since the second half of that next season, 2024, I can only find 2 other weeks like this one where he even hit 3 bombs in a week. So, let's see what the next week looks like. I would just say I still think he's going to get a lot of runway. I mean, there's no one literally to replace him out there. There's no star right-handed hitting right fielder they can go trade for.
Now,
7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, quick question before we address a tweet that was posted this weekend. It will tie into what I'm about to bring up with the New York Knicks winning the NBA championship.
Yes.
Do you like it that the NBA has found a way to get away from dynasties? Your last stretch of NBA champions, you've had no back-to-back since the Warriors did it in 17 and 18. And then, of course, they made it in 19. That was the year with the Sixers, the quadruple doink, all that kind of stuff. But your last champions, Knicks, just this weekend. Thunder, Celtics, Nuggets, Warriors, Bucks, Lakers, Raptors. Do you like that? Or do you like dynasties in sports? I always talk about how dynasties make sports better because you're trying to take someone down, right? You're trying to be the team that takes down the Patriots. Eagles did that. You're trying to be the team that takes down the Chiefs. Eagles did that. Who's trying to take down a team that – who's trying to take down the Nuggets anymore? Like, nobody, because they haven't won. I prefer dynasties.
I do not. I prefer the NFL method of when the NFL prefers of trying to make it so it's a sport where you can get back in it fast and there can always be champions. Even though dynasties can happen if you get transcendent players that you can lock down for a little while.
Considerable greatest of all times at especially the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Brady and Mahomes.
No, I do not prefer the dynasty.
Okay. Connor?
Yeah, I'm definitely on John's side on this one. The one thing that I do miss,
unless the Sixers are the dynasty or the Flyers or the Phillies.
Yeah,
or the
if it's
Eagles.
ours,
Yeah.
I hope we never lose. But the good thing too about this one, I do like having some hate in my heart when it comes to the team that wins, and I feel like you get that most when it's a dynastic team. Like once you win like once or twice or maybe 3 times in such a short period, then you could start to build like the Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce hate, the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick hate. And when you have different champions, you don't really get that. But for us, I can hate the Knicks. So I'm good with that right now.
Right.
Well, unfortunately,
I can hate the Knicks.
2 out of the last 3 we can hate. Boston and New York.
That's fine with me.
Doesn't take them winning a championship for us to hate them.
And I can hate them. And again, I paid the Knicks a compliment last going into the break. I can hate them and not be happy at all that they won.
Yeah.
And still respect the hell out of some things that they do, but be completely despise the fact that they won.
But parity's good. I mean, it's part of the reason why Major League Baseball is about to miss a large part of their next season is because they don't have enough parity. Whatever you put that on.
But there is parity. Like, that's the thing. There is. The Dodgers are an extreme example. They are. Other than the Dodgers, teams can pay money all they want. The Yankees always have a top,
the Phillies
top
could
payroll.
Phillies could be the Dodgers,
right?
That's not parity, though. And saying that there's 5 teams that could spend a bunch of money is not parity.
The actual numbers, and Jason Stark will share it with us, at some point, and he does in his columns. The parity in baseball is actually better than the parity in football. More like there's more new teams make it in baseball to the playoffs than football, especially
the back end with the wild card.
So it's like the parity in baseball is there. It's just not. People don't see it or feel it the same way.
I think the only cool thing that the NBA has is that obviously the Knicks are bigger than basketball because they're a brand, but they haven't won in forever. So it's showing you right now that teams have a chance to win the championship if they are built the correct way.
By the way,
the Sixers.
They didn't have to tank to do it.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Well, no, they just sucked.
No, but they didn't have to tank. They didn't have to lose on purpose. They didn't have to gut their roster.
Well,
they didn't have to do stupid.
Did for a couple of years.
They did not.
After the mellow time.
But they did not tank to build this roster. They did not go and say, we're purposely losing.
To build this one, correct.
What I'm saying is
they tried.
Yeah. The champs.
Yeah, you're right. They tampered to go get Jalen Brunson, and then he took a major discount to stay.
And I'll never forget, I thought they overpaid for Jalen Brunson.
I think a lot of people did.
Yeah. No, I don't think anybody said good contract. Anybody. I don't remember. Maybe his dad did.
Yeah, Rick Brunson.
I don't think anybody said good contract for the Knicks.
Rick Brunson's had it as a jobs program. His son's been his jobs program. Let's be honest.
Oh,
I mean,
now they're NBA
that's the way it works.
All right, so there was a tweet that was put out this weekend by a writer that we respect. His work is tremendous.
I love Mike Sealski.
Yeah, great work.
I love him personally. Love you, Mike. You've been on a roll, though, dude. You've been on a roll. And we've talked about it. Like, we've talked about it offline, Mike and I.
Yeah.
Because there was something else where Mike and I were battling heads about recently. I even forget what it was, but we knocked heads about it, and I was like, I think you're nuts. I can love Mike Sealski's writing. And I'm sure that there's things we say on this show that Mike goes, he's driving around going, okay, they sound stupid.
Oh,
this morning.
absolutely, yeah.
And there it is. This one, to me, was absolutely absurd because he kept going. It is the end. It's the end of his tweet that bothered me.
All right.
It's not the beginning of the tweet. It's the end of the tweet that bothered me. It's not the beginning. It's the whole idea that you're saying to people, look, where do you believe that you want to in any way cheer for the – are you in any way cheering for the Knicks?
Here's his tweet.
Yes.
Sorry, Philly fans. The Knicks unite New York like no other team in that city and region. There are fans of all races, creeds, colors, genders, and classes who have been waiting for this for more than half a century. If you don't appreciate that, you don't really appreciate sports.
Okay, that is where if he had left off the last part, no lies detected, complete agreement. Complete agreement.
Yeah.
And then Mike was saying, I'm not lecturing you. He's arguing with people going, I'm not lecturing you. Mike, when you tell people, if you don't do something, you are, what's the wording again? If you don't, the end of his tweet.
The end of his tweet says, if you don't appreciate that, you don't really appreciate sports.
So, yes, Mike, you are lecturing people if you say that last line. Because, yes, I can appreciate sport and not appreciate the Knicks winning. I appreciate sport. I spoke today of what I admire about the Knicks, but I can also say that I can appreciate the sport and I cannot appreciate the Knicks winning. I can absolutely acknowledge what the Knicks do, and the Knicks acknowledge they embrace New York differently. It's not like the Jets and Giants, because the Jets and Giants split up New York.
Yeah.
The Yankees and Mets split up New York.
And the Brooklyn Nets are fake.
The Nets are fake. They were a New Jersey team.
Yeah, right.
They don't. So I can understand what he's saying till that point. And then what I was seeing is Mike's arguing with people going, I'm not lecturing you. Yes, you are, Mike. When you tell people, if you don't think the way I do, you don't do that. Yes, Mike, you're lecturing.
Somebody said that his take was embarrassing, to which he responded, it's not embarrassing at all. It's how I feel. I don't understand how anyone, even the most passionate Philly fan, could look at the Knicks run, see so many New York fans from so many backgrounds so happy and think, this sucks, screw them. What a lousy way to go through life. No, Mike, this does suck, screw them. I'm a Sixers fan.
Yes.
I'm a Phillies fan. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a Flyers fan. I know what the Knicks fans were celebrating because we had that with the Eagles, right? My entire life, your entire life, even longer, to see the Eagles win a Super Bowl, right? So, I know the celebration that they were feeling, the incredible, forget the bus burning and all that stuff. The actual fan that didn't want to destroy their city.
Which, by the way, they did a ton of destruction of that city.
I know what that normal person of society was feeling. The one that was happy that their team won, probably hugged their loved one, thought about the loved ones who have passed, that didn't get to experience it. I know that feeling. But I don't want other cities to feel it.
No.
I want my city to be the only one that feels it, because that's what fandom is about.
Does Mike think that Dallas Cowboy fans were happy for us?
No. And do you think I'll be happy for them if they ever eventually win? Hell no.
Does Mike think that New Yorkers were going, the Eagles finally won that Super Bowl in 2018, but you know what? You got to appreciate it.
No, because they lost their zero rings comments.
Stop. Stop. It's ridiculous. But more importantly, do I have to appreciate it, that fan base, after watching the despicable way that they treated their city? No, I don't. It's ridiculous. Bunch of fools. Yeah. And then I'm hearing, it's like, no, it's not Knicks fans. These aren't Knicks fans. No, they're just dressed in Knicks gear everywhere.
They're Philadelphia fans ruining the city, apparently.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Come on.
So, look, I don't agree with Mike at all there. I don't know Mike on a personal level. I like his work.
I'll continue to read everything that Mike writes.
Absolutely.
And Mike will listen to this show and go, God, those guys sound stupid on this issue or that issue. But on this issue?
Well, clearly he disagrees with us on this issue.
But on this one,
we're the ones that are disagreeing with him.
But one thing you cannot disagree with on, Mike, is that if you tell people you have to feel a certain way or you're wrong, you are lecturing people. That is a lecture. Whether you believe it is or not, it's a lecture. There you go.
So when's the Sixers' turn?
Yeah, when's it going to happen?
By the way, will the Knicks fans be happy for us because they know the pain that we went through?
No,
Absolutely
they won't.
not.
They never would. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
When the Flyers win the Stanley Cup, you think Ranger fans are going to be like, well,
Knicks fans were
Flyers-
celebrating Embiid having Bell's palsy, Mike.
They were. How about
like, let's be honest.
How about Knicks fans were making noise during Nick Nurse's brother's moment of silence?
Yes.
These are despicable turds, Mike. Yeah. Their fan base doesn't like us. We don't like them. And not saying we haven't done our share of crap, too.
But you got to feel for them.
No, I don't feel for them. I wish them nothing but pain. But I can admire the players who play on the roster and what they've done. And I can admire
Yeah, we could
that.
be jealous.
Envious, I am. Yes, I would be.
All right, what do we got on the Davis Honda text line? Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. A lot of Phillies talk today. What we got?
Yes, we have people checking in on the Phillies conversation with the trade deadline, and this texter, Andy from Delco, says, I say get a right-handed outfield bat. After seeing the bats go cold against superior pitching this weekend, I feel bats needed more than a starting pitcher.
And I agree, but the follow-up is, then who is it? Because, and I get it, John, you keep on saying we don't know who's available yet, and we'll find out. There will be whispers, but right now the two whispers, one, I don't see why the Cubs would move on from Suzuki unless they just get a haul for a guy that they're maybe they're not planning on re-signing after this offseason, or they trade him away and get him back in free agency. We've seen that with baseball before. But like Joe Adell, a guy that I know will pop up. I put out a tweet, John, on April 5th. I actually went back and found it this weekend when I read the article from Bob Nightingale. I put out a tweet on April 5th after Joe Adell. Remember he had 3 home run robbing catches in the same game?
He had the great ones. Yeah, I remember that day. Yeah.
I said Joe Adell, and then I put in parentheses, who will be an annual should the Phillies trade for him at the deadline player, and then I continued. Every year we're going to talk about this guy, and every year it's going to be the same thing. Either the Angels hold on to him, or we're going to talk about bringing in a guy that strikes out way too much, that does not hit right-handed pitching well, but could be a 4th outfielder. That's what you have available is 4th outfielders.
Over and over.
They're in a really bad spot, guys, and I'm sorry to say it on June 15th. All right, coming up next, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
And I got to tell you about our friends over at Kalshi, and the world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived. You could trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you could trade every single match from the opening stage all the way to the final. And Philly, you saw your first action last night. Ecuador, Ivory Coast. Well, you got another game Friday. Haiti is trading at a 5% probability to take down Brazil. Yeah, you could call that an absolute long shot. A $100 trade pays out $1,875 if they win. Maybe you like the long shot. There was a point this weekend where Curacao was tied with Germany. You never know. And that's why it's fun to be able to watch the biggest tournament and trade it on Kalshi. And the best part is on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANATIC, and you can get $10 when you trade 10. I did that on the great US of A team and their win over the weekend. Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
Bill Collar.
So let's do that. Now, Andrew Salciunas has the day off today. It is not because of a clip that went viral from our show last week about Jalen Hurts. He's got regular vacation, but he was getting ripped because he said his number one question for the Eagles this year is about Jalen Hurts' performance at the quarterback position with the change in offense, Sean Mannion now taking over. What is your evaluation of that? Is that your number one question?
My number one question for this team this year would be if the offensive line can stay healthy and hold up. And it's not a very sexy question, right? Like, if the offensive line isn't healthy, we can't get Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson back to health, I don't care what plays Sean Mangan's calling. They're not going to have much of a chance. The offensive line has to be better. It has to be healthier. They've been the foundation of that team for so long. They've been responsible for so much success. We're talking about elite, all-time Eagle talents. So I don't say this in a critical way, but I say it in a way in which the offensive line has had to play through some injuries, and it's aging. And are they going to hold up and hold together? If they do, it's going to be a great season. If they don't, it's not. To me, that's where it starts.
It is 7:48 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Phillies begin a series with the Fish tonight after they dropped 2 of 3 with the Brewers. And
a 3-3 road trip, which is what you asked. You said, what you said, what are they going to do? You said Nostradamus. What are they going to do?
3-3.
3-3. You want to know what they're going to do in the homestand?
What are they going to do?
4-2.
All right.
They're going to go 4-2 with the Marlins and Mets.
Divisional, and then you got the Nationals, so this is a big stretch for them.
And
yeah,
the Nats,
they got to pile up wins.
By the way, Nats are only game and a half behind the Phillies.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The Nats
That's what happens when you start 9-19.
Nats are a game and a half behind the Phillies. Nats are playing some good baseball.
They got some offense. They have nobody at all who can pitch the baseball.
Yeah, they're a 500 baseball team. And again, when you start 9-19, that's what happens to you.
Game and a half behind the Marlins, who've gotten themselves back to 500.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And at least steep division.
They're 2.5 behind the Phillies.
And meanwhile, there's the Mets. 7 games under 500.
I love it.
All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
And it's brought to us, as always, by our friends over at Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Now, we've been talking a lot about the Knicks taking the NBA Finals crown over the weekend, but we got another champion crown last night. We haven't dove too much into it. Here's how it sounded as the Carolina Hurricanes won their second Stanley Cup.
And they're going to clinch it appropriately with a total team effort and a shutout. The Carolina Hurricanes have won the Stanley Cup for the second time.
Now, Johnny, I know you were rooting for Vegas in this one.
Big time.
Andrew, I'll ask you as well, because this does impact how we look at the Flyers as they look to build things. What is your evaluation of the Eastern Conference now that you have the Stanley Cup champions in there?
Well, you have Florida. It's a difficult side of the bracket. I mean, but the Flyers they're not there yet.
No, they're not there. They're still
I don't
a while.
I'm not even. I can't even do the whole how far off are they.
Well, they're
like the Sixers. It's depressing, right? For me, the Sixers. It's depressing to see how far off they are from the Knicks because the Sixers aren't rebuilding. The Flyers are rebuilding. Sure, I can say, all right, they needed that. They need a little bit of this. They need a little of that. But I'm not comparing to them to the Canes.
Thing is, the Flyers could build a team like the Canes.
Sure.
The Flyers could build a team in the Canes mold, and the Flyers showed you 3 of the 4 games they played
They're
the
right
Canes
there, yeah.
really tight. They went to overtime in 2 of them. I mean, they played the Canes great.
Doesn't make me think that they're Stanley Cup contenders next year.
They're not. No, they're not.
But I like what's being built right now with
yes.
the Flyers. Yeah.
Yeah, so just want to take a quicker peek at that. We've already got plenty of Knicks talk out of the way.
Did you see what Torts did quickly, though?
No.
He left his clothes, and he did, by the way. He left his clothes in Carolina after Game 5.
What, all of them?
Yes.
Oh, like we'll
stunt.
We'll be back here.
Oh,
We're
I
coming
get
back.
what you're saying.
So he left his stuff and said, "We'll be back for it." And he left it at the hotel. He left it at the hotel. Now, of course, you know
USPS overnight delivery.
That he said, "Yeah, send me my suitcase," but he left his stuff.
Or maybe he just really likes Carolina and wants to hang out there for a couple of days.
And not bad this time of year. Hey,
He's not choosing that over Vegas.
A lot of people want to hang out in Philly with the World Cup going on, but we have an international PSA that needs to be done. And I don't think we've ever fully evaluated the widespread curse that we have here, because another level was added to something we've seen in the past here in Philadelphia. Ecuador lost to Ivory Coast last night 1-0. Yeah. They had like 3 crossbars hit in the game. It was a tough loss for them. And people are starting to blame it on something that we've seen visiting fan bases do in Philadelphia. The Rocky statue had another jersey on it over the weekend. Now, previously, this had been teams playing against Philadelphia teams. But now, do we have to open the Rocky statue jersey curse to any team, even an international competition that does it?
Maybe. I do remember after the Niners won, or it might have been the Vikings won, didn't somebody then put Eagles gear on it? Almost like we took back our property.
Possibly.
I don't remember that.
Now maybe we're safe from it because we are here.
Oh, yeah,
we are
ours.
in the city. So maybe you're right. Maybe this is more than just a opponent of Philadelphia sports team curse. This is just, if you do it, you're cursing your.
It's
your
like
team.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Maybe.
It's sort of similar.
It could be.
Your face is going to melt off.
Maybe.
The ultimate test is going to be the Brazil-Haiti game. I want to see a Brazilian fan put a Brazil soccer jersey, because if they lose to Haiti, this is very real.
Yeah, I don't think that's remotely close to that.
By the way, did you see the Brazil contingent on the tour guide that one of the local newses did? I'm sorry, what station had it? The Brazil tour guide, with they're being brought through the historic sites and everything.
I didn't, but can I imagine what it was?
I swear to you, every single person in the group was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, my wife goes, every single person in there, they're like handsome or gorgeous.
Yeah.
And they're like just people like, "Lo, here's Ben Franklin," and they're showing them they're at the Liberty Bell and they're all posing for pictures. And she goes, "There's 10 people in the picture," and she goes, "There's nobody in that picture who's less than an 8.5."
Friday night should be a fun night in the city of Philadelphia.
Oh my gosh, they're just beautiful.
That game's at 6 p.m. and then you got a chance for people to go out afterwards. It'll be fun. Enjoy it, Philadelphia.
Yeah, Connor's got his mind already where he's going.
I'm just talking about the soccer.
Does Brazilian people, do they just have gyms everywhere and just have beautiful genes or what?
I guess so.
Maybe a little bit of both.
I mean,
by the way,
the genetics must be incredible.
I just Googled most attractive countries ranked, and
what was
Google
it?
AI spit out the world's most physically attractive people. Your top 5. At number 5, Japan.
Japan.
At number 4, a tie, Spain and Italy.
Okay.
Number 3, Sweden. Number 2, USA.
No way. No way. No way. No way.
USA.
No way.
And number 1, India. Brazil not even in the top 5.
That's
this is
freaking ridiculous.
This is why computers don't know.
That's ridiculous.
Why don't you keep that USA chant going for a little bit more?
USA versus Brazil.
Because we might not be the most attractive country. We'll debate that. We were pretty darn good on Friday night.
The most goals the United States have ever scored in a World Cup game. It is as close to a perfect beginning as any of us could have possibly imagined. The United States 4, Paraguay 1.
A beautiful, beautiful first effort from Team USA. And are you guys starting to dream the beautiful dream?
No.
What? Come on, boys.
You're gonna let
What?
I need some
know
patriotism
why.
out of
I know
you.
why. Because you and I both watched our first USA soccer game in 4 years. But I say no, and your answer is yes, because you watched one game
Okay.
and you're being fooled.
Now, again, Explain to me just as quickly as you can. The goal differential really matters. So the 4-1 matters, right?
Yeah, it depends where you end up seated. So
but
if you
it
win
makes
your
you
group,
an
you're going to
easier.
be fine
It
either
makes
way.
you an easier path, though, for them to potentially win in the
If
knockout
you win the
round,
group,
right?
because of how many teams make it, because it's the biggest World Cup of all
right.
time, like you're going to have a relatively manageable round.
Okay,
of
well, that's what I
32.
want. That's
Let's
what I
score
want.
more
So-
goals.
So that's how many scores.
Run up the score.
So that 3-goal differential really helps.
Yeah, but that's as good as they've looked in a long time.
That's awesome.
So
I hope it continues. I'm
There
not,
may-
like all of a sudden saying,
we
yeah,
may
that one
actually
game.
have a little something here.
All right, 2 people have already checked in going, the USA does not have more attractive people on
According
average
to Google,
than Brazil.
according to Google AI, man.
Are you kidding me? Walk the streets of America.
Google AI knows.
Compared to Brazil.
It's a
Are you
computer.
nuts?
You know?
Hey, when we take down France in the World Cup final, we can put out Silver Shines Just as Bright. I'm
Remember
excited for that.
What's
again.
What's that movie with the cockroach? The one that I don't like because of the cockroach. Where they all ride around on the.
What?
They all ride
Men in
around.
Black? I don't know.
No,
What?
there's the Disney movie. You just showed it to Coop, where all the people ride around on the remotes, and it has the cockroach character.
yeah,
Wally.
Oh,
Wally.
yeah.
I mean, seriously, there's no way.
You saying we have a problem?
That
Yes.
was a Pixar movie. I don't think that.
Isn't it Disney Pixar?
I don't think that's everybody. Well, I'm just saying it was an animated film.
Do you think
those weren't real people?
America's not Brazil? Stop.
Coming up next,
Stop.
we get
You're right,
back
we've
to
got-
our
got
Phillies
a better
talk.
soccer team.
As much as I think they are in a horrible spot, if we're talking baby steps, John Kincade is still wondering if the division is up for grabs. We get into that coming up next. It is Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Phil's struggle in Milwaukee. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies dropped their series in Milwaukee to the Brewers, losing 2 games via the shutout, including a 4-0 loss in yesterday's series finale. Christopher Sanchez gave up all 4 of those runs. Just 5 2/3 innings worth of work for him. It was one of his roughest starts of the year. Meanwhile, Phillies only 4 hits at the dish themselves. Anthony Sanfilippo of On Pattison talked last week about questioning the sustainability of how the Phillies have been winning games.
I'm not certain that the way they're winning games is ultimately sustainable. Almost every game is super close. I just worry that that's going to come back and bite them at some point.
Well, maybe they need some help. The trade deadline coming up in a little bit, couple of weeks here, and the Angels outfielder Joe Adell, Cubs outfielder Seiya Suzuki are 2 names that reportedly popped up on the Phillies' radar over the weekend. They'll start a series with the Marlins tonight in Philly, 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Zach Wheeler takes on Ryan Gusto. The NBA and NHL Finals finished up over the weekend. Knicks took down the Spurs 4-1 to win the NBA Finals. Hurricanes beat the Golden Knights 4-2 to win the Stanley Cup. And Team USA, as you just heard, won their opening match of the World Cup group stage Friday night over Paraguay, currently leading Group D. Game 2 for them is Friday against Australia. We'll talk to Tim Kelly of On Pattison coming up at 9:30 for his evaluation of the Phillies' current issues. This update is brought to you by our friends over at Modelo. Join Sean Brace Saturday, June 20th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Brooklyn Bowl in Fishtown for a Modelo match night. Enjoy code Modelo drafts, soccer giveaways, and all the match day action. Details at 975thefanatic.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Is the plan to keep Joel, and can you say with 100% certainty that Joel Embiid is back for 2026?
Yeah, Joel's ours right now. I've had great conversations with him. We FaceTimed. I'm actually going to see him in a couple days to kind of sit down in person with him. But, you know, we just got to get Joel on the court. You know, obviously when he plays, we're really good. He's still a dominant force. I mean, he can get 25 in his sleep. And I know he's self-motivated. You know, obviously he doesn't like the questions about him not being available, but he wants to play. He wants to be on the court. And, you know, that's on me. That's on our whole staff and Nick and the whole building to get him to his best self.
there is no reason to panic about the Jalen Carter contract situation. And lo and behold, John Kincade this morning did exactly what I thought he would.
Price is wrong.
Went on this morning. Bill's 100% wrong. We need to be concerned. If they don't get a contract in place in 6 weeks, literally, he said 6 weeks 4 times. In 6 weeks by training camp, Jalen Carter might hold in. He might show up and not participate. He might this, he might that, he might this. Guess what? I could die walking out of here.
I got a question.
That could happen too in the next 6 weeks. But I don't want people to panic, Ricky Bo. There is still 6 weeks to go. Yes, they are in negotiations with Jalen Carter. I was told by the Philadelphia Eagles they fully expect to get the contract done. And under the current NFLPA agreement, you can't hold out. We saw what happened to Hassan Reddick. You could go back.
It's 8 a.m. on this Monday morning here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic. June the 15th, we are a month and a half away from the MLB trade deadline. And, of course, we are once more talking about the same thing. Just change the year. They need a right-handed bat. They need another outfielder. I know this time Adolis Garcia was out because of injury, and that's why you need to look at the market. But was Adolis Garcia playing at a level where you weren't going to look at the market?
No.
That goes to Dave Dombrowski. Once again, misreading situations. 3 straight years. Whit Merrifield, Max Kepler, Adolis Garcia. They're paying $30 million to right field where they don't have any of the 2 players that they're paying playing. And now you're having issues with your guys that you called up. We talk about Painter all the time. Justin Crawford's become a guy that they're not playing every single day.
And that, by the way, you want me to criticize my man crush?
Magic Mattingly?
Again, as an organization, you said our everyday center fielder. By the way, Dave Dombrowski, I have multiple quotes from Dave Dombrowski. I had multiple quotes from the last manager. I do not have a quote from this manager saying every day. So maybe that's the only thing in his credit where he doesn't get critiqued for it. But I want to see Crawford get to play every day, and I haven't seen enough of it. Like, come on.
No.
What are we doing here? Like, seriously, what are we doing here?
He has either not been starting or he's started and then been pulled from
stupid.
games.
It's stupid.
Here in the month of June, he's had at least 4 at-bats 3 times in the month of June. 4 plate appearances 4 times in the month of June. And then there's a lot of games where he's either not starting and he's coming in as a defensive replacement, or he's getting pulled because there's a left-handed reliever and they're taking him out. So your young guys that you're relying on too are not helping you out right now. Crawford not getting the opportunity to play every single day. Andrew Painter being an absolute disaster right now, and
he's terrible.
He pitches in this series. This could be his last shot for now. You need to add, and ultimately your team is still a contender for getting to the playoffs. I am not saying that they're a contender for a World Series right now, which sucks to say considering they were just there in 2022. And if they did not choke away 2023, they would have been back. But since then, they have shown their flaws. Teams know how to pitch against them come playoff time. They know where the weak spots are and its weak gaps are in this lineup. And now that some of the young guys that you were hoping would be sort of that boost of energy, boost of ability, they have not come through. You're stuck in the same spot that you've been in the last couple of years. And the problem is, we can talk Mike Trouts, Byron Buxton's, all the talk you want in the world. You don't necessarily have the prospects to get them. And if you don't get either of those 2 players, there's a monster fall off to who's available.
Well, you're not getting those guys.
Right.
You're not getting, if Buxton goes on the market, how are you landing him?
There's a bunch of teams that are going to be in on him.
How would you land him? Like, I mean, we're going to be the show. We promise. We're going to be the show that is going to have logical sports talk with you. We're not going to do hey, so do you want Mike Trout? What the hell do you think you're trading for Mike Trout? I want to hear right now. Connor, speak for there are a lot of mouth breathers who do this for a living.
Yeah, what did you call them earlier? Gas bags?
Gas bags.
That was a new term.
The mouth, this is what should be done for any mouth breather. who does this for a living who says, the Phillies should trade for Mike Trout. The first caller should say, you're the host that says it. Okay, you're not, but you're the host. Yeah, Larry, I agree with you. I think the Phillies should trade for Mike Trout. Let's bring him home. What should we trade for Mike Trout?
It would be some combination, I would guess, of Dante Nori, Arun Escobar, Gage Wood, Francisco Renteria.
So the 4 prospects you have any bit of excitement for.
So Dante Nori,
some combination. It doesn't have to be all those guys.
A guy who has no power, an outfielder who's a slap hitter, a Gage Wood who nobody knows anything about, but he is well thought of.
Yes.
Well thought of. And I absolutely would love to see him.
Over
I'd
baseball, too, not just here, like over baseball.
There you go.
Yeah, look, they're in a bad spot, and they're going to probably acquire just another guy. So what's the poll looking like right now, Connor? Brought to us by Dr. Avedon Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health. The poll is strong for 4 hours every single morning, even though the options may not be that strong.
No, the options are not that strong. Of these options, which would you like to see the Phillies acquire at the trade deadline? Back-end starter, back-end bullpen arm, right-handed outfield bat, or right-handed utility bat. 87% of responders are saying right-handed outfield bat. 10% right-handed utility bat. So 97% are going with right-handed bat in some capacity. 3% back-end bullpen arm. 0% back-end starter.
So I saw a tweet from Billy Golden who responded to the poll. None save the prospects they can't win this year. That's a very likely answer. Like, if there's not a guy
someone's being honest.
Yeah, if there's not a guy that's going to wow you, what's the point of moving on from a prospect? Now, look, the Phillies prospects typically don't work out.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
So if I traded the 15th ranked Phillies prospect, all right, the 15th ranked prospect for the Dodgers would be like Bryce Harper here. The 15th ranked for the Phillies, I would move on from to try to acquire somebody that might be able to help you a little bit. But to Billy's point, are you going to unload the very bare cabinet that you already have for one of the top guys?
No.
Probably not.
No.
I would because I hate
not.
prospects. But I know that's not going to happen. I live in a world of
it's so dumb.
Realistic possibilities at times.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, I had that conversation with John Marks last week in one of our breaks when they came in. We were having to talk about potential trade packages for like a Mike Trout. And I'm like, hey, at some point you got to look at it and say, we don't have a move we can make that is enough to get us into a better World Series contention position that you might as well just ride it out. I know that's not what people want to hear, but that very well could be the strategy.
Now, MBD is of the belief that the contract, and Connor, you brought up this point earlier, for Mike Trout could help you. If you're trying to acquire Mike Trout, it's because he's got 4 years, $150 million left.
Okay, Dodgers wouldn't be in any way drawn off by that. Mets wouldn't be drawn off by that. Yankees wouldn't be drawn off by that. Braves wouldn't be drawn off by that. So that's a non-talking point.
Okay,
and they all have better packages.
The Dodgers need Mike Trout. Do you think the Dodgers want Mike Trout?
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that doesn't matter.
I think the Dodgers want everybody, but I don't know if they'll go out and do it.
We found that out.
The Mets are not going to do it because they're not good.
Yeah. Look, here's something that I'm going to say, and it's not a good reason by any means. Let me ask you something, John.
Okay.
So he's got 4 years left on his contract. That means he's signed through 2030. If there's no lockout, then it would be 2031. But let's just say there's no lockout, so 2030. Who else is locked up through 2030? Or close to?
Trey, Bryce,
Schwarber.
All of these guys, right?
Yes.
You have been saying, even going back to this past offseason when they were talking about re-signing guys, they brought back JT Realmuto.
It's the Golden Girls, dude.
You've been saying that at the end of these contracts, it's going to be really bad in Philadelphia.
You're going to have a dark. We're going to have a dark era.
All right,
and you're going to be sitting behind the mics.
Yeah. Regardless, it's going to be a dark era.
Oh, it's a dark era
because you're not moving on from Turner, you're not moving on from Harper.
No,
you're not moving on from Schwarber. You're not moving. Maybe if you were bad, which they're not, Schwarber would be a valuable piece for a team. But other than that, who's the valuable, expensive contract that the Phillies have? Nobody. Right? Like, Nola's not valuable for teams. Harper might be. He's
I
playing
think
good baseball.
Harper's going, and I'm going to tell you, Harper will be a Las Vegas
Yeah,
A.
but that's not for a couple of years.
Yes, but he'll be a Las Vegas A. I think he will not end his contract in Philly. He'll move on.
The point I'm going to get at here, if you are of the belief it's going to suck regardless in 4 years, why wouldn't you do it?
So you want to make it worse?
It's going to be bad regardless, right?
No, it's going to be, you want to make it a crater?
You're already saying it's going to be.
The way you've been talking about
No.
this Phillies team and the contracts
It's
they
going
have,
to be bad.
you're making it out to seem like we're about to go through another 10 years of darkness.
Well, I mean,
hopefully not 10 years.
No, but what I'm saying is that you go, I'm thinking that the Las Vegas situation is going to help because the minute this team shows it's not competing for a world title, Bryce will opt out. Bryce will be like, get me out of here. And, oh, by the way, there's a team in my hometown that's starting out. I want to be a day one Las Vegas A. He will be on the opening day roster of the Las Vegas A's.
When's that?
Bryce Harper. 2029? He'll be an A. Because the Phillies won't be in contention.
Okay.
Right, but that doesn't help you. That makes your team.
No, they trade. You get
No,
traded.
I'm talking in the moment. It gives you more options to spend payroll, but Bryce Harper leaving this team
I'm
doesn't make
saying
it better.
right now,
Yeah.
if you're – are they a better team with Mike Trout right now?
Yes, unequivocally.
Okay, I agree. They are
They
a better
absolutely
team right now. Are they in a bad spot regardless come 2030 with or without Mike Trout's
Yes.
contract?
But you don't want to add another albatross contract to this thing, even if you could.
Why not? Screw it.
That's kind of where I'm at. Now, again, that's a whole different conversation. It's not going to happen because they don't have the pieces to trade.
No,
for.
they don't.
Like, they don't have it. But if they actually did have a farm system, like let's say they had any of the farm systems that you could mention that you year in, year out, you know that they have a prospect that can come up and help right away. The Phillies never have that. Let's just say they were one of those teams. I would consider it because I think it's going to suck in 5 years anyway. So why wouldn't I just give it a go? All in. I'm pushing
you're pot committed.
I'm pushing my chips all in at this point. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer.
The problem
It's going to
is-
suck regardless.
Here's the problem. I don't want Dave Dombrowski listening to either one of you jabronis right now because I think that's his mentality anyway. I don't think Dave gives a damn about what the
That's usually what his mentality is at most
I keep bringing up
places.
Cooper Salciunas.
Yes.
Cooper will be a middle school kid when the dark ages hit in real regard. I don't want because do you think that Dave Dombrowski sitting in over in Franklin, Tennessee in a beautiful home in a tax-free state enjoying life is going to give one damn that the Phillies fans here are suffering because of I rolled the dice because I know I'm not going to be here.
No,
to
he
pay for
laughed
a
at
price.
Tim Kelly's question just by asking if he's the right man for the job.
Do you think that at the trade deadline, Daryl Morey was he really going for another old broken down star? Of course he was. Because you know why?
That's what he thought would
Because
win.
Daryl said, no, he didn't. No.
That's what
He wanted to have something that would be like, I'm not going to pay the price for this. 5 years from now.
So what? You think
3
you're
years
just
from now.
screwing over the Sixers organization
No,
out of
it's not
spite or
screw-
something?
it's not-
Like
no,
he thought it would
no,
work.
it's
It's
not
just
out
a
of-
bad strategy.
It's not out of spite. It's called the pushing all the chips to the center. You don't care about the long-term strategy. You just go, I don't have a long-term strategy. Whoever's running my franchise, I want them to always do the job responsibly. And if they don't do the job with a long-term strategy, they're not doing the job responsibly.
I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, the other side of that coin is you're trying to win in the moment, and the Phillies are already in that situation now.
But if you talk about winning in the moment, if you have a franchise that's set up that has prospects to give up,
right? Which
I'm
they
all
don't.
for going for it. If you have ones, we don't have prospects to give up because we have a cupboard that's bare. We have a team that we have quad A players that we bring
the
up.
only point I'm making when we have the Trout conversation, and you have said, and you're not crazy for saying it, but for people that go, why would I bring on another bad contract? My response is, well, it's probably going to be bad in 4 years anyway.
Another broken down guy, by the way. Another guy who plays less than half the games that he's available
so what do
to
you
play.
want, Derek Hill because he's healthy?
No, I don't want Mike Trout coming here and stealing money from this franchise. No, I don't want that. I don't. And I don't give a flip that he's from Jersey.
Okay,
I
that's
don't
not.
care.
I don't care that he's from Jersey either.
But
right?
people
Let's-
do.
I know, but like this
all
part of the
I ever hear.
conversation, that's dumb. Take that out of it. That has
I
nothing to do
agree
with
with you.
baseball.
It's dumb.
All right, he can help the team win now. You're already screwed later. Why would you not do it?
Because I know, first of all, I have no reason to believe he's healthy through 162. None. History would tell me 85% of the time he's not going to be.
Let me ask you
So
this.
I
then.
know. He's been healthy to June 15th. History would indicate the last 7 years he ain't going to be healthy September 15th.
Let's take it to another level then. If you're not going to do that and you don't want to see them add another contract, and we know what the market is, would you prefer the Phillies add Mike Trout and go all in, or the Phillies sell?
Well, I don't want selling, but again, as they will say, and Jason Stark will tell you, you don't know what's available at the trade deadline because you don't know what teams are willing to. You don't know what trades are out there because you don't know what teams are willing to move if you're willing to move.
I know it's guys like Taylor Ward who were
Right,
like,
well,
all right,
you know what?
We'll see. He's got 3 home runs.
Do you remember who the Braves won the World Series with in 2021? All the moves that Anthopoulos made in 2021.
Yeah, Soler.
He went out and got spare parts.
Who's the Puka necklace guy? Jock Peterson.
He went out and got the 2021 trade that he at the trade deadline.
Was it pearls or Puka?
I don't know.
It was a Puka. It was a Puka Nakua necklace, I think it was, but it was a thing. So he went out and made a bunch of Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario, Adam Duvall, and Jorge Soler.
Yeah.
He got 4 spare parts. 2 of them ended up being NL MVP, NLCS MVP, World Series MVP. And they ended up being the guys that helped to push them over the top to win a World Series.
Here's what's unfortunate. What year was that?
That was 2021.
How many teams
made the playoffs? Teams fool themselves into thinking they're still in it now. And that's really
No,
unfortunate.
2021 was the same.
No, it was not.
Oh, it was
22
one
was the first
less.
year.
Phillies benefited
less
from
wild
it.
card
Remember,
team.
they were the last team in. And that's a major issue for the MLB hot stove trade deadline talk.
And it's too early. The deadline's too early.
There are teams.
You think it's too early to have it at the beginning of August?
No, I don't think it's too
I don't think it's too early.
Yes, because too many teams are still in it. No one's going to sell.
Yeah, or there's teams that just fool themselves. I bring up the Angels all the time as the example. The Angels last year were under 500, but because they were like 5 games out, they're like, we still have a chance. And it's like, no, you've sucked all season. You're, like, if you're below 500 come the end of July, you're a below 500 baseball team. Period. Like there's no like, oh, you just went through a rough stretch and you're now you fell under 500. No, you stunk all season long. But they fooled themselves. There are teams that fool themselves. Ticket buying public as well.
Correct.
Into thinking that they're still contenders. Buy tickets for the September push. Here's your sale now. We're giving you a discounted price for September. They know that they're not going to be actually in contention.
Correct.
But look at the moves we made at the deadline. So here you go. Buy your tickets now for September. And then you realize after one game, oh, this team stinks. There are teams that think they are still in it. And so that's great that you bring up the Braves example. But that was a different era. That was the 5-team era. How many teams make the playoffs now?
There was one less wild card.
Right.
One less.
And so a lot of teams think that they're still in it, and it's horrible. And that sucks for us because we need more teams to realize that they're out of it, which gives the Phillies more options at the trade deadline, but that's not going to happen. Speaking of of playoffs and divisions,
okay,
you're thinking that there's still a chance?
I do.
All right.
I do. And this is going to seem counter to the way we've been talking about. There's 4 weeks of ball between now and the All-Star break. And I've told you right now, by the way, it's all of this talk. You're a half game out of the top wild card spot. You're a half game out of that spot. So now what you've seen of the Phillies, though, they're not the Dodgers. They're not the Brewers. They're not that caliber of a team. And I know you guys discount the Brewers. You can't. If you watch the Brewers play and you watch the Phillies play, you can see the Brewers are a completely different level of baseball team. But the Phillies still could play much better ball to draw themselves closer to both those teams. And there's no reason for me to believe in a playoff series they couldn't give them a real battle. The Phillies are 8 back with 4 weeks till the All-Star break. I'm telling you right now, I could easily see a scenario where the Phillies are 6 or 5 out by the All-Star break in the division. And the Braves have Giants, Brewers at the Padres. They have an at the Padres at the Giants trip coming up, while the Phillies have an at the Nationals at the Mets. They have a Cardinals Mets homestand, while the Phillies are playing the Pirates at home and then at the Royals. Then the Braves go to the Pirates, a place they don't tend to play well, and then they're at the Cardinals, while the Phillies are playing at the Reds and at the Tigers. I have a feeling that when we're talking about the All-Star break, we could be talking about this 8 being 6, being 5. And then we're talking differently about the division. And more importantly, I just want that wild card solidified. Top wild card position, have that solidified.
That I see the division, my problem, our problem, the Phillies' problem. 2 anchors at the back end of the rotation right now.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. And
I almost pencil in L's now when Nola and Painter start.
And the thing is, right now,
and that sucks.
You are treating your organization, you're treating your fan base with disrespect to not, you keep trotting out Andrew Painter.
Well, you'll see him this week, excuse me. Wednesday?
Is he doing the afternoon game?
He's got the nod Wednesday against
the day game? The day game.
Should go well.
Man.
Maybe he pitches better during the day.
Nah.
What are his day-night
Can't be much worse.
day-night splits?
I mean, it's a non-factor.
Coming up next, you mentioned the Brewers. Did the Miz beat Sanchez again? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Oh, he did beat him, didn't he? He did beat him. But you know what isn't beaten? Benari Jewelers. My friends in Exton and Newtown Square. Benari Jewelers takes care of business, and believe me, they're not going to be beaten. They're not going to be beaten on making sure that you get the best diamond possible with the best diamond guarantee. Their 110% diamond upgrade guarantee, which means your diamond is never going to lose value. So when you're ready to upgrade, your diamond is going to be worth 110% of what it was worth. So that's that 10% little bump you know you get. They're standing behind their business. They're going to take the time to answer every question you've got. They're going to make sure you're comfortable before you make any buying decision. Let's just say their staff, very welcoming. There's no pressure. When you walk in, though, you're going to be blown away because it's gorgeous. Their showrooms are absolutely next level, absolutely beautiful, and they're going to take the time making sure you're comfortable and that you understand what's going on. They're going to teach you how to buy a diamond like an insider. And I can tell you, with the hand-selected stones they've got from some of the world's top diamond cutters, you're going to be amazed. You're going to get an incredible ring without blowing your budget, and because they're a direct diamond importer, you're going to feel so great about your purchase. If this is the summer you decide to pop the big question, I always tell you, Benari's the answer. Benari Jewelers, Exton, Newtown Square, and online at benarijewelers.com.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Phil's heading home. I'm Connor Thomas. The Phillies rounded out their road trip with a series loss to the Milwaukee Brewers yesterday. They lost 2 games via the shutout in that series, including a 4-0 loss yesterday afternoon. Christopher Sanchez allowed 4 earned runs in just 5 2/3 innings worth of work, an uncharacteristically bad start for him. And the Phils were only able to muster 4 hits at the dish. Jim Salisbury talked last week about the search for a right-handed bat that could help balance out this offense.
I expected them to look for a right-handed bat at the deadline. In fact, I'm sure that search had already begun. We'll see if this injury expedites that search and a potential transaction.
The injury he mentions is Adolis Garcia being placed on the 60-day IL. His season may be over. And with that, Angels outfielder Joe Adell, Cubs outfielder Seiya Suzuki, 2 of the names that are reportedly on the Phillies' radar. We'll keep an eye on that as they start a series with the Marlins tonight in Philly. 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Zach Wheeler versus Ryan Gusto. The NBA and NHL finals finished up over the weekend. Knicks beat the Spurs 4-1. Hurricanes beat the Golden Knights 4-2. So both the NBA and NHL seasons come to a close. Team USA won their opening match of the World Cup group stage Friday night over Paraguay. They'll play Australia on Friday. Tim Kelly of Von Pattison joins us at 9:30 to talk some Phils. This update is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. July 3rd, Xfinity Mobile Arena. Undefeated South Philly fighter Johnny Cannoli and Garbarino, who fights former world champion Mike Richmond, plus 2 other world title fights. Tickets at bkfc.com. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic app.
With Le'Veon Bell, Jalen Carter's under contract for 2 more years. He's got this year. He's got next year under the 5th-year option. Yes, would you like them to get this deal done sooner rather than later? Of course you would. But on June 10th and now June 11th, to be trying to get all-out panic about this situation is absurd.
the Eagles have a culture. And it's really weird, though, what surprises me. And I go back to the first segment and you sort of saying to me, I don't care about all that stuff with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and everything. You don't value it. I do. I so value the mentality of having players that want to be football players over celebrities first. There is zero question in my mind, zero, that Jackson Dart loves being a celebrity and is enjoying being a celebrity. And to me, I think that's great for Eagles fans. I think it's awesome because he hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he's loving being a celebrity. Scatterbo cannot help himself but to be out and about being a celebrity, being spotted. Where has he been? What's he doing? What's he been? I love it. Let them be living that life. Where can we be? Where can we walk a red carpet? Where can we be seen? I will take life with Jalen Hurts, boring-ass Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley, who literally are as boring as white milk and saltine crackers. And I will I'll take it all day long because I think you win with players like that.
Do we believe what he's doing right now? What do you think?
That's a rough question, Ricky.
Well, it's a loaded one, of course.
It is. The jury for me is still so out. I mean, the past week offered some reason to think it's still in there. Did we think that before? I don't know anybody who did. On the other hand, even if you look at this past week, it's a 241 batting average with 0 walks over the last 8 games. But there's 3 homers and a double in there. And I think within that, there's some signs this might not be the disaster than people thought it was. And like the reason to think that is his swing now is just totally different than it was in spring training and even what it was a few weeks ago. He's moved back in the box. He's opened up more than we've ever seen him. He's not pointing that bat at the pitcher anymore, which made his setup so long, so slow. I just don't know what it means yet. I keep thinking back to that 2023 postseason. I'm sure you guys remember it well. That dude homered 5 games in a row in the LCS and World Series. But since the second half of that next season, 2024, I can only find 2 other weeks like this one where he even hit 3 bombs in a week. So, let's see what the next week looks like. I would just say I still think he's going to get a lot of runway. I mean, there's no one literally to replace him out there. There's no star right-handed hitting right fielder they can go trade for.
let's do that. Now, Andrew Salciunas has the day off today. It is not because of a clip that went viral from our show last week about Jalen Hurts. He's got regular vacation, but he was getting ripped because he said his number one question for the Eagles this year is about Jalen Hurts' performance at the quarterback position with the change in offense, Sean Mannion now taking over. What is your evaluation of that? Is that your number one question?
My number one question for this team this year would be if the offensive line can stay healthy and hold up. And it's not a very sexy question, right? Like, if the offensive line can help.
The Fanatic.
All right, question. Not that this is going to happen. I just have a question. If the Phillies were like, man, we're desperate. Let's bring Nick back for right field. Does he just come here for free because they're paying him already?
No.
How does that work?
No, we already did that last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, did that last week.
So how does that work?
He gets paid, and they have to make a new deal with him.
So he gets the rest of the old deal and also gets a new deal. Now, he doesn't have much bargaining power right now.
I don't think he'd ever
So I
come
would
back.
imagine he would get a minimum.
I don't think he would ever come back.
I know. This isn't happening. But I was just curious. Do they just kick the contract back up? Like, all right, we flip the switch back on. Here's your deal. Or did he get paid in full?
No.
When they released him?
No, he gets paid like he's working for them this year.
Okay.
They get paid just like baseball players get paid.
Okay.
You don't get like a lump sum check in advance. No. You get paid like you would the course of the season.
But it's not like a bartender picking up a shift somewhere. Like he's not coming back.
They I'm very anxious to see what they decide to do.
The guy that they picked up is a stopgap. Like the Derek Hill is not. This is our guy that's going to propel us to the World Series.
He's going to be. Nick would not be unwanted in that clubhouse. Like there'd be a couple players. Harper.
Yeah, he's not.
That would not want him to be, but no, that's not happening.
Yeah, he got released because
it's not happening.
Was bad. In
well,
San
no,
Diego,
the guy is
too.
gone.
Yeah. So we'll see what the Phillies end up doing. That's been a lot of our conversation today.
His numbers would fit in here.
yeah, he'd be
in San Diego. They run you out for that. Here, they'd be maybe welcoming you with open arms.
he'd be right in. By the way, as we're getting closer, Philadelphia, we talked a little bit about the World Cup game yesterday. Ecuador, the fans showed up. The team loses 1-0 to Ivory Coast. I just saw during the break, I saw an overhead shot of the stadium, and it was like 90% yellow, which was it was Ecuador.
Dude, I was heading through Center City on the way to get on the bus for the wedding I had Saturday, and there was a car in front of me. The entire the hood of the car was painted the Ecuadorian flag, and there was a guy out the sunroof, and it wasn't like one of those small hold-it-in-your-hand flags. He had the full-size flag,
That's
just
awesome.
waving it in Center City traffic. They were everywhere, man.
I love
that was cool.
I'm not a footy. Was that an upset last night?
Ivory Coast has had some success in the past. I imagine Ecuador is slightly favored in that game.
Okay. Because I would feel bad. Like, imagine you're making this big trip. Because let's face it, if you're coming from Ecuador to the United States, you're paying the tickets for the World Cup matches, the parking that was out there. Yet, not that I'm sure some of them didn't drive. I'm sure a lot of people just Ubered and stuff. That would suck. The World Cup trip to watch your team lose would suck.
We get upset if we go to South Philadelphia to watch the Phillies lose a home game
in the regular season.
162.
Right. I can only imagine the financial implications of going to a World Cup match out of your country and then watching your team lose 1-0. And that's why soccer is a sport that just doesn't do it for me, even though the Phillies lose 1-0 a lot. We are in the year of 2026. Everything's happening in Philadelphia. All-Star game right around the corner. And you believe, John, that this weekend may have been the moment where we found out who the NL starter
we did.
will be.
We did. Mizraowski he's the starter.
Dude's a stud.
And he deserves to be.
Yeah.
He earned it. And he earned it this weekend. He separated himself from Christopher Sanchez. They're now separated by the ERAs now are separated by half run. It's not close.
He had 15 strikeouts.
It's not close.
He's a beast, dude.
Christopher Sanchez is awesome. We love him. We love you. You're awesome. You're great. You're not Miz. It's not. I mean, Miz is the starter, and he should be. He's earned it. Now, can things change between now and then? Could he get rocked by some teams? Maybe he could. I don't know. But but Christopher Sanchez had a chance this weekend to make his case. He didn't. Miz came up big. Sanchez came up small.
You know what?
And you know what? In life, that happens sometimes.
You know what sucks?
I've seen myself on a golf course.
You're doing the Sanchez versus Mizorowski discussion because it's all-star starter versus who's probably going to be the first one out of the pen, right?
Exactly. No question. I mean, we're talking about like, is your favorite ice cream?
Right.
You know, it's like it's great. Is your favorite cut of steak? Do you want the prime rib or do you want whatever it is?
So this will be a bummer.
Exactly.
You know what's a far worse conversation? Miz versus Painter. That's a far worse conversation. Mizorowski's second-round pick in 2022. Andrew Painter, first-round pick in 2021. Both 6'7", both right-handed pitchers, both supposed to be flamethrowers.
Please.
One is showing that.
No.
The other one is not. And that freaking sucks. Like, I watched Mizorowski this weekend as I try to watch him pitch whenever because he Skeens for me, right? Like, anytime Skeens is on the mound, I'll find a way to watch it. Anytime Mizorowski's on the mound, I'm going to find a way to watch it. I want that. Is that too much to ask? To have the young phenom? Is it too much to ask? And Andrew Painter is supposed to be that. And I'm not even saying he has to be that 105, striking out 15. No, I want him to be competitive. I don't even have that.
How about Painter will never be that?
Yeah, and that's fine. I need him to be competitive.
Now, can Painter be a really solid starter in the major leagues?
Yes,
Sure,
he can.
might be. He might very well end up being that. But is he ever going to be special? I think I can confidently say no. Is he going to be special? Is he going to have some special attribute that's going to have everybody in the major
slider
leagues?
doesn't move.
No.
It doesn't move. I mean, that's the problem. Like, you cannot spot and you go, all right, but look at the movement, look at the stuff. Like, once he figures out that kind of stuff, he'll be all right. I still can't get it out of my brain, the home run that he gave up 2 starts ago, the slot against the White Sox.
Yeah, the absolute nuke to right field.
Where he threw a slider.
Was there any movement?
At least that's what it said.
It said slider.
It said slider. I still cannot confirm. I have not hacked into JT Realmuto's PitchCom yet. Did he actually hit the word slider or the button slider? Because that's what it said on the screen.
Do you think there's a button on his PitchCom that says slider? Or is it a number?
Or it is,
I mean, come on.
Middle 85. Throw it here.
I would say don't hit that button again.
Because I understand that they have on Aaron Nola's is just the Sargento. It's like the meatball. They've got that one.
Why is he
Hit that
catching a
button.
stray right now?
Well, because he deserves it.
Yeah,
too.
I guess.
Terrible.
Here's the thing with Painter, right? I wouldn't say confidently he's not going to be special because what we're seeing from Christopher Sanchez is a guy who came up as like a swingman bullpen dude who turned himself into one of the best pitchers in baseball. So we got a ways to go. What I'll tell you is he's not special, competitive, or anything close right now, and that is a problem because in the moment, the guy is as close to unpitchable as you can get without being sent down.
This is his last chance for me.
I can't believe he's getting this one.
Are you saying you really think it's last chance?
He should be sent. If he gets shelled again, he should be sent.
He should have been already.
He should have been well, he should have been already.
He should have been already.
But he can't continue to go out there and get crushed. And I'm not talking about there's got to be a better option. I'm talking about the future of Andrew Painter, who is supposed to be that next guy. How many times have we had the conversation? Man, it's a good thing you have Painter because when Wheeler leaves, you're going to have Painter. Andrew Painter wishes that he's half of Zach Wheeler, and he's not. So I need Andrew Painter to be sent down if he struggles this week against the Marlins for his mental state. I need him to work on things. I don't care about Alan Ronhell. I care about Andrew Painter.
I understand what you're saying.
This is last chance, man.
It sounds like it sounds like it should be last chance, but this organization has no urgency. They have no urgency about anything. They don't go about anything with urgency. So I don't know what
He'll figure it out.
I don't know what you're expecting. Like there's no reason to expect that they are going to start treating things like it matters.
Because they don't want to make it seem like they're giving up on the kid and blah, blah, blah. And it's you're not giving up on him.
Why?
You're just letting him work on things.
You want him beaten up?
Right.
You want him destroyed?
I don't want him to.
Here's what I'll say. The Phillies fired their manager 28 games into the season.
That's urgent.
That's urgency.
But they maybe should have done it before.
They should have done.
That's also fair.
It's not urgency when people are going, dude, wake up, and they don't, forever, and they let it go on. They should have done after the Dodgers series. It should have been Rob, great dude, man, Move on. Thanks, man. Great.
All right, what do we got on the Davis Honda text line? Been a fun Phillies day. I guess fun is the word to use. It's kind of sucked because that realization of they're in a really bad spot.
That's the way it works.
There's nobody to really acquire.
Bad club.
They are who they are.
Bad club.
They are who we thought they were.
David from Glen Burnie checks in, says, I would say for the poll questions, it's going to be option E. I want to add an extra one. You sell what you can because this team cannot go out and get a right-handed bat.
Oh, so sell.
Yes.
You sell what you can because you can't get the right-handed bat. Okay.
Yeah, but who are you selling?
Like who? Like what? Who do you think anybody wants?
Marsh.
Marsh, yes. Marsh, somebody would want. But the thing is, you're in the top. You're a half game out of the top spot of the wild card. You're not selling.
This is
You can't do that.
All right, coming up next, I will. I'll throw something out there.
You can't. I mean,
Curious to hear what you guys think. Curious to hear what the people think on the Davis Honda text line, 610-632-0975. I'll explain more coming up next, but there is something the Phillies can do. They can try. I don't know how likely it is, but they can try. We'll get into that coming up next. Also, I have a very random Eagles question. It'll be a quick, 1 minute.
How random?
Put it in the bank, we'll, and even though you'll be gone, we'll keep track on it.
Just check in with me.
Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament right on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every single match from the opening stage all the way to the final. Philly, you just saw your first game here in Philadelphia, and you saw Ecuador fall to Ivory Coast. Hey, you could have made a trade on that one. But this Friday, Haiti is taking on Brazil. Now, Haiti, obviously, significant underdogs. Sometimes, though, you want to believe in something special happening. Miracles do happen. So if you want to trade on Haiti, well, they got a 5% probability on Kalshi to beat Brazil. A $100 trade, well, you're going to have a good weekend. $1,875 if Haiti pulls off the major upset. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. And for a limited time, you can download the Kalshi app and make sure you use code FANATIC to get $10 when you trade 10. I did that this weekend when Team USA played. Put those 10, traded, and then guess what? When they won, hey, I got a little bit of money back there. And I got the $10 from Kalshi. Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
Inside the
We can't get Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson back to health. I don't care what plays Sean Mangan's calling. They're not going to have much of a chance. The offensive line has to be better. It has to be healthier. They've been the foundation of that team for so long. They've been responsible for so much success. We're talking about elite, all-time Eagle talents. So I don't say this in a critical way, but I say it in a way in which the offensive line has had to play through some injuries. And it's aging. And are they going to hold up and hold together? If they do, it's going to be a great season. If they don't, it's not. To me, that's where it starts.
plan to keep Joel, and can you say with 100% certainty that Joel Embiid is back for 2026?
Yeah, Joel's ours right now. I've had great conversations with him. We FaceTimed. I'm actually going to see him in a couple days to kind of sit down in person with him. But, we just got to get Joel on the court. Obviously when he plays, we're really good. He's still a dominant force. I mean, he can get 25 in his sleep. And I know he's self-motivated. Obviously he doesn't like the questions about him not being available, but he wants to play. He wants to be on the court. And, that's on me. That's on our whole staff and Nick and the whole building to get him to his best self.
It's 8:48 here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic. I see the great Ray Dunn there in the producer studio. Middays with Marks coming your way at 10 o'clock.
I love Ray's out there meeting the people, being an ambassador for the city.
Ray, how many drinks did you have with the Ecuadorians? Oh, he's thinking.
And the Ecuadorians must look at Ray as like a unicorn.
He said 3, but when he did the OK sign, I wonder if that 0 means 30.
Like nobody.
Probably around that.
And they're probably taking pictures with Ray going, look, nobody looks like him in Ecuador.
No.
So they're like, look at him, look.
And if Connor met them, he'd say, I'm the guy from Unfiltered every once in a while on TV and NBC Sports
Maybe like,
Philadelphia.
yes.
I wouldn't have to say it. It's already on the
check
TV
me
at the
out
bar.
on TV.
I run the replays constantly.
All right. One.
You can get it in Ecuador on YouTube.
You could.
Get us every morning over there in Ecuador.
One thought.
Okay.
I don't know the likelihood, but one thought that the Phillies could do is trade big leaguer for big leaguer. I just don't know what that market is.
What's that?
Like, could Alec Boehm be? You mentioned Marsh as a sell because that's what the texter wanted.
Yeah.
Forget sell. You're a playoff team. The Phillies are not selling like let's plan for the future. But there is a world where the Phillies could trade a major leaguer to get another major leaguer.
What?
Yeah, you could, like, if a team thinks they can re-sign Boehm for cheap because he's not having a great year, you're kind of buying into the future of that. You make that trade. But that would be you'd have to thread a needle on that
and
one.
Dave Dombrowski would have to get creative.
And what do you think you'd get in return?
No, just another Major League Baseball player.
But what kind of one?
A guy that's not a quad A player. How's that sound? Because Alec Boehm's not as much as I can.
He's a quad A player.
No, he's not.
Dude, he was an all-star starter. He's not a quad A player.
He was. He had a good 2.5 months.
He's not. Look, you know me. I will pop bottles the day he's not here anymore. He's not a quad A player.
Nobody. They've tried to trade him for 2 years, and nobody wants him, guys.
They tried selling too high.
How do you know that? How do you know that? You do not know that.
I'm pretty sure Stark talked about how they tried getting way too much for him.
That's what he said a year ago.
Right.
This offseason, they tried to move him again,
look,
and nobody wanted him.
No, but I'm saying, not who'd they get? Derek Hill. Not a Derek Hill type player. I'm talking about a guy that you go, that is a starting baseball player.
You realize that Derek Hill type is how people in Major League Baseball obviously look at Alec Boehm.
No, dude, come on. He had a 90-plus RBI season at the major league level. He's not a quad.
Derek Hill has never played 60 games in his
They are not looking. They've tried to move him, and nobody wants him.
That is some of that is true, but that doesn't make him a quad A player. You're going too far.
But nobody wants him. Is what I'm saying to you is, what are you going to get in return for expiring? What I'm saying is, the contract. What you're going to get for Alec Boehm, I said, is a quad A player.
You said Alec Boehm is a quad A player.
What you're going to get in return for Alec Boehm, because you're not going to, what are you going to get for him? You're not going to get a major league starting player because you're getting an expiring contract on a guy who you can pay whatever you want this offseason. You can outweight the Phillies and say, this offseason we can give Alec Boehm whatever we want. He's been a declining asset for quite a while.
Yeah.
He had a good run for a half of a season and then fell off the map, and his own teammates wanted him benched. His own teammates
so even
wanted
if it's
him
not
benched.
Boehm, it's who are the guys that are
Marsh is the guy. If you wanted to, but why would you do it? Like, Marsh is the guy who's marketable. Stott doesn't get you anything.
Yeah, I really
Boehm doesn't get you anything. You have nothing to move. Like, there's nobody to move. on this team.
So
Marshawn doesn't get you anything.
Oh, no, of course not.
I mean, so you got nobody to move unless you were willing to make a bold move and say, you know what? We realize the crap we're in. We know you got to move a guy like a Harper.
Would you give up on Crawford already?
No. I haven't given him a chance. And all these absolute.
They may be telling you something.
All these guys that I've given too long a chance to.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving Crawford a legitimate chance.
I'd consider it.
Oh, my gosh. That's incredible.
I mean, he's a limited player at the major league level. I think he could be very good
We
for
haven't
what
seen what he is.
Okay, is he going to hit 15-plus home runs at any point in his career?
I have no idea.
Highly doubt.
I highly doubt it. I do. Do I think he can be a back end of your a guy who can play a competent outfield?
Absolutely.
A guy who could be a major leaguer for a team that can win something? Yes.
Yeah, but could you get somebody who's slightly worse defensively, less athletic, maybe a little older, but has power from the right side that fits his team better? It's not Crawford's bad. Is he going to be good enough to say you can't retool this roster to fit more what you need in the moment? I'm not willing to say that.
I haven't seen enough of Crawford. You were just telling me about not wanting to give up on guys like we don't know what Painter is. I haven't seen enough of Crawford.
Dude,
why are we giving up on him?
If someone called about Painter, I'm taking that call.
No, I understand, but you were just saying we haven't seen enough of Painter to make a judgment. We have not seen anything of Crawford to not make a judgment.
It's not about the overall quality of the player. It's about the fit with the current team.
So,
what do you mean the fit with the current team? They need Crawford.
All right, here's a question. Would you consider Justin Crawford untouchable?
Hell no.
Exactly.
Hell no.
So then I would listen
But
to
you
any
have
call.
nothing else. The thing is, though, you have nothing to move.
Well,
like Stott and Bohm. Nobody wants Stott and Bohm.
Of course they don't.
Nobody wants Bohm. Bohm has been, they have put him on Facebook Marketplace. Pop-Up running this organization, not Pobo, Pop-Up. Put him on, told the whole world that he wanted to trade him, which is stupid. And then tells him, oh, yeah, here he is. And come and meet me in the parking lot of the Wendy's, and we can make the deal. And nobody wants him. Nobody wants any parts of it because you know why? Because Alec Bohm is another guy who his own teammates have mutinied against him. His own teammates wanted him benched in a playoff series.
I just think
his brand is ruined.
Because of the lack of prospects. What year is it?
Oh, my gosh.
Dave Dombrowski's going to have to get creative, or it's going to be a trade deadline where you get Rodolfo Castro.
Yep.
Who they got from the Pirates, and he played like 7 minutes here. Like, that's the move.
Who's the last big-name move that led to a team winning a World Series?
Well, I mean, the Dodgers are unfair to.
Okay. No, the big-name move at the trade deadline. It doesn't usually happen.
To win
Unless
a World
it's
Series
a
or
pitcher? No, to win a World Series. Because that's what we're talking about right now, right? We're trying to say this team is to win a World Series.
Yeah.
They're going to be a playoff team.
I love what the Mariners did last trade deadline, and they got them to an ALCS. I would get to a championship series at this point.
And take your chances?
Yeah.
Sure.
And so the Mariners did some pretty big moves with Naylor and Suarez.
Yeah, but Suarez isn't a name. Yeah, it was a name last year, but he's a guy, a 220 hitter? 225 hitter?
Yeah, but he's going to hit you 40 bombs.
I got you, but a guy who's a 225 type hitter. And the Phillies wouldn't bite. Man.
And I think that was a mistake. All right, coming up next, I have a random Eagles question that I'm going to throw by John and Connor because it's something I was thinking about this morning driving in, just like a little game when I was driving in. And I don't have an answer. We'll give one, but I don't think there's a lock. That, and we're going to speak with Tim Kelly coming up at 9:30 from On Pattison. And courtesy of On Pattison, there was a crazy graphic that came out this weekend about Bryce Harper.
It's amazing.
It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5.
There is no reason to panic about the Jalen Carter contract situation. And lo and behold, John Kincade this morning did exactly what I thought he would.
Price is wrong.
Went on this morning. Bill's 100% wrong. We need to be concerned. If they don't get a contract in place in 6 weeks, literally, he said 6 weeks 4 times. In 6 weeks by training camp, Jalen Carter might hold in. He might show up and not participate. He might this, he might that, he might this. Guess what? I could die walking out of here.
I got a question.
That could happen too in the next 6 weeks. But I don't want people to panic, Ricky Bo. There is still 6 weeks to go. Yes, they are in negotiations with Jalen Carter. I was told by the Philadelphia Eagles they fully expect to get the contract done. And under the current NFLPA agreement, you can't hold out. We saw what happened to Hassan Reddick. You could go back to what happened with Le'Veon Bell. Jalen Carter's under contract for 2 more years. He's got this year. He's got next year under the 5th-year option. Yes, would you like them to get this deal done sooner rather than later? Of course you would. But on June 10th and now June 11th, to be trying to get all-out panic about this situation is absurd.
The Eagles have a culture. And it's really weird, though, what surprises me. And I go back to the first segment and you sort of saying to me, I don't care about all that stuff with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and everything. You don't value it. I do. I so value the mentality of having players that want to be football players over celebrities first. There is zero question in my mind, zero, that Jackson Dart loves being a celebrity and is enjoying being a celebrity. And to me, I think that's great for Eagles fans. I think it's awesome because he hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he's loving being a celebrity. Scatterbo cannot help himself but to be out and about being a celebrity, being spotted. Where has he been? What's he doing? What's he been? I love it. Let them be living that life. Where can we be? Where can we walk a red carpet? Where can we be seen? I will take life with Jalen Hurts, boring-ass Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley, who literally are as boring as white milk and saltine crackers. And I will I'll take it all day long because I think you win with players like that.
What your other options are.
You mean this has been what the Phillies have done for how long now?
How long have I been complaining?
This has been
3-4 years?
This has been their strategy for a while. That is on Dave Dombrowski. Dave Dombrowski, it is a war crime what he has done with to have the 4th largest payroll to play with and to be that bad with building a roster is a disgrace. I would so much rather have Preston Mattingly making these decisions. Making the decisions about how to go forward. Because how you're given the pile of cash that he's been given, and you build this, oh boy, I almost said it, this crappy roster, and the terrible long-term contracts he's done. It's disgraceful.
We're talking about a right-handed bat because Nick Castellanos did not perform. It's so great for me to yell and scream into his microphone and say Dave Dombrowski needs a trade for a right-handed bat. But really, let's face it, the two guys that got paid a handsome amount of money, Trey Turner even more than Castellanos, them being disappointments ultimately for what you paid for, that's the reason why we're having these conversations.
Now back to the show.
All right, that's what we've been talking about today. The Phillies are in a pretty bad spot. Sorry to open your eyes to that.
I don't think we are, though, are we?
I don't know.
Well, there are shows, and hopefully we don't have them on this station, that are going to try to convince people that Skubal and Trout could happen or are happening.
Yeah, they're not going to.
They're not. Well, I hope that we're not going to be that radio station that's doing the clickbait radio, because it's BS.
Well,
They don't have the talent to return the top guy.
And that's
what it is.
That's the reason. But the problem is the Phillies are in a bad spot because, and we have a poll on this brought to us by Dr. Avdon Appel and the team at Iron Mountain Men's Health. It's been strong for 4 hours this morning.
We love them.
And the results have not shifted. It is one straight poll that we got going on right now. There is no leanage to the left or to the right.
Well, doesn't there have to be genetically? Well, no.
Of these options, which would you like to see the Phillies acquire at the trade deadline the most? And 84% are saying right-handed outfield bat. So people are probably wondering, what other options are there? Back-end starter, because you have two that stink right now.
Oof.
Back-end bullpen arm, because you really only have one guy that you're like, yes, Duran, I feel extremely comfortable in. I know Kirkering's been pitching well. I'm not ready to put him into a big high-leverage eighth-inning spot yet because I've seen him melt. And then we threw right-handed utility bat out there. Utility meaning that they can play multiple positions because shortstop is so bad right now with Trey Turner. He is so bad that the reason why we're having this conversation is because of him. Ultimately, it's Trey Turner's fault. Like, let's be honest. If we're going to spread blame, the reason why we are where we are is his ineptitude to play decent baseball. He is so bad right now that you don't know where to put him in the lineup. They could drop him in the order, but who's batting in the top four?
Oh, no, they can't drop him in the order. He may cause a fit.
So do it. Cause a fit. Drop him.
Try, yeah.
No, it may affect his psyche.
All right,
he may not like it.
Well, what's affecting it now?
No, what I'm saying to you is
he stinks.
But they worry about this stuff. I'm just telling you.
Ain't that your boys' move
Yeah,
now?
I thought Magic Mattingly.
No, what I'm saying is, the whole organization worries about this stuff. They worry about it too damn much. Oh, well, what's his psyche? What's it going to be? Is it going to be affected? Who gives a damn?
Well, you know what sucks? Forget psyche for a second. You drop him. So you got Schwarber leadoff because we're back to that. I guess Bohm 2.
That's the only option.
Harper 3.
Oh, jeez.
Who's batting fourth?
Brandon Marsh.
So now you got a team that can't hit left-handed pitching. You have 3 of your top 4 hitters are lefties.
By the way, that team's going nowhere.
Like
that then just say you're not winning anything.
So that's why this morning, I'm sorry to say, they're in a horrible spot because the one guy that people are going to point to, regardless of whether or not they can actually do it, the one guy people are going to point to is the guy from Millville, New Jersey, that plays for the Los Angeles Angels that we've been talking about his entire career about one day being a Philadelphia Philly, and that's Mike Trout. After Trout, there is a major fall off.
But it's not happening.
I know.
Well, no, but when people hear you talking, though, they're going, oh, yeah, we'll go get Trout then.
It's just why I'm trying to tell people, sorry, but I'll be the one to tell you the Phillies are in a horrible spot because then after Trout, it's Austin Hayes-esque players where you're hoping, all right, can they catch lightning in a bottle? Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader stinks this year. Harrison Bader had a ridiculously great stretch when he came here.
He did. That doesn't mean he would have stunk here.
Right. Who knows?
No, I mean, but the thing is, though, is that it doesn't mean he would have stunk here.
Sure. All I'm saying is, like, whoever you acquire, you're banking on a hot streak because you're not getting anybody that is of note. You're getting, hopefully this guy plays well, and hopefully if he is a platoon guy, because that's what the Phillies are obsessed with, that he just mashes left-handed pitching. That's where they're at right now. And that sucks. coming to determination with that in June sucks.
It sucks.
But they have
It
the
really
pitching.
does.
They have the pitching, and that's the only thing that I can hang my hat on. Like, that's why I can't say the Phillies have zero chance of winning. I can't do that like I did with the Eagles. Because there's a chance that Sanchez, Wheeler, and if you get the good Luzardo, right? Because we've seen the both sides of the Luzardo story this year. If you get the good Luzardo, I like my chances in all three of those games, regardless of who the opponent is, even if it's the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm not in any way out on Luzardo.
No.
I just don't know. There isn't enough nights where I feel good about it. But as a 3, I feel good about it. As a 3, really good.
But that's why I'm not selling. That's why like our texters that are saying sell, like I can't because I have those 3 horses. Why would I waste that? If you're selling one of those 3. You're not selling Brandon Marsh. For what? To get a prospect for the team that's going to be hopefully competitive 5 years from now? Like the thing that I can still believe in is this rotation.
No, and you should be able to believe in this rotation. I believe in the rotation. I mean, but
they got to win 1-0, 2-1, 3-2,
and that's the problem. That is the problem.
All right, I got to get my mind off the Phillies for a second.
Okay,
we'll get back to the Phillies. Davis on a text line in a second here. Feel the Davis difference. Check him out in Burlington. I was driving in this morning, and I was just doing a little exercise by myself, and I was thinking about the Philadelphia Eagles. Because I read an article this weekend just sort of about the recap. I was out the last couple of days of the week, so I was just kind of catching up on everything. And mandatory minicamp happened. And it's about the wide receiver 2 battle that's going on right now between Mekhi Lemon and Dontavian Wicks. It's a good problem to have because one's a rookie, another guy you extended. So even if one ends up being the number 2 receiver, your odds are you're playing 3 receivers out there anyway, except for the 12 personnel when the Eagles love going with their 2 tight ends. And, oh, by the way, your second tight end is Eli Stowers, who you drafted in the second round. Who do you guys think will have the most touchdowns for the Eagles this year? You don't have the A.J. Brown give me the ball anymore.
Saquon Barkley, and I don't think I hesitate that.
Well, if they're on the 1-yard line, what if it's tush-push time?
It's not going to be tush-push.
You think tush-push is dead?
No. But, I think Yeah. I think tush-push is dead. From I can tell you, Dork Boy has been in the watching the Green Bay offense in the lab and trying to do that stuff. I do believe that their goal line offense, if you watch what they like to do and what LaFleur likes to do, they're going to be first and goal from the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
They're running it. There's going to be a lot of running it. There's going to be a lot of Jordan Love stuff where it's, hey, you have the option to roll out and throw it or run it in yourself or whatever. But Jalen Hurts is probably the best option for touchdowns always.
Yeah.
But I would go Saquon Barkley easily.
All right. You go Saquon easily. Think about it. You have Jalen. You have Saquon. You've Goddard, who had 10 touchdowns last year.
11.
You have Stowers. You have Lemon. You have Devontae Smith, who's pretty freaking good. That's a lot of options for people to score with. And I was just trying to think this morning, like, who's the guy that finishes with the most? So you say Saquon without hesitation.
Easy.
I'm going to say Goddard because of the connection between Hurts and Goddard from previous years and also the utilization of tight ends in a Sean Mannion offense. So I'm going Goddard. I don't dislike your logic.
No. I mean, it's good. But
I look at what Josh Jacobs did, the last couple of years. Josh Jacobs has had a lot of success. Aaron Jones has had a lot of success, running backs for Green Bay over the last couple of years. What about you, Connor?
I'm going to go Saquon. And part of something we heard coming out of mandatory minicamp was how much the running backs were being involved in the receiving game. Like, I already think Saquon would have a chance with just the setup of the offense. If the run game was similar, not the Kevin Patullo run game, but to what we've seen with Saquon, he's already going to be close. He had 2 receiving touchdowns last year. He doubles that. He leads the team in touchdowns from last year's numbers. And I think he's going to be a lot more utilized. So Saquon's dual threat that should develop this year is what's going to put him over.
All right, so you guys both go Saquon. I go Dallas Goedert. I would like people to text this in or YouTube. Give us some of your answers, and we'll tally it a little bit over the last hour here. It's just something I was thinking about this morning. Like, we talk about how dangerous the Eagles' offense is. We said it last year. It didn't really work out. Said it 2 years ago. It worked out from the ground game. We said it 3 years ago. it didn't really work out. There is a lot of talent, regardless of coordinators and your thoughts on the quarterback. There is a lot of talent on this Eagles offense, which means there's a lot of spreading the ball around. And now that you kind of got rid of the guy that had the biggest issue whenever the ball was spread around a little bit, maybe Jalen Hurts has a little bit more freedom.
I like the idea. And I believe watching the Green Bay offense, Jalen Hurts is going to have a lot more freedom. I believe he's going to be a lot more. I believe it's going to be a much more creative offense. He likes his Michael Jordan stuff.
Yes.
You know, he's going to be. We're going to see how great. We're going to see how great he possibly can be, or he potentially can be. We're going to be able to tell that. So he's going to have a lot more options. Let's put it this way: there'll be many more options in this Mannion offense.
Okay.
If it's like the Green Bay offense, many more.
By the way, last year, Josh Jacobs, 13 touchdowns. Emmanuel Wilson, the backup running back, had 3. So a lot of touchdowns on the ground. In the air, though, it was spread out, man. Romeo Doubs, 6 touchdowns. Christian Watson, in just 10 games, had 6 touchdowns. Tucker Kraft, in just 8 games, tight end, 6 touchdowns. And then everybody else was 2 or 1. Dontavian Wicks had 2.
Now, the difference there is those wide receivers are all kind of guys. We're talking about guys for the Phillies. Like, Devontae Smith is head and shoulders above anybody else in this wide receiver room.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see how much the spread it out is balanced with, hey, we got a wide receiver 1, feed him. That'll be really intriguing. Now, whatever works, I'm good with. But that's what makes it so tricky to pick a wide receiver as your highest touchdown scorer.
Yeah. Look, it is hard because you could just hand the ball off when they get close to the goal line. So we'll see. I'm curious what people think about this.
I'm just so excited to see it all come together. I'm going to tell you, if you watch, just go watch some of the short NFL games if you have the NFL app and you can watch the short games, and you watch that Green Bay offense when they're in the red zone, the Eagles offense is going to be much more dynamic.
Yeah.
Should be. Let's put it that way.
Although last year wasn't bad. Red zone offense actually wasn't bad last year.
Wasn't bad.
All right, what do we got on the Davis Honda text line? Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. You can text in 610-632-0975. Voice memos, you can call in the old-fashioned way still. Don't you worry. Phillies, they're in a rough spot right now. Do you want them to address certain areas? How much are you willing to spend? Do they even have much to spend? Well, that answer is no. But what we got?
Steve checks in and says, why don't the Phillies trade for a first or third baseman, right-handed bat, move Harper to the outfield and Bohm to first?
He's not going anywhere. It's already been talked about. Both parties. I would love.
What do you mean both parties?
Was it Stark who said it the other day that both parties are Bryce Harper's the first baseman of the Phillies?
Yeah, because Bryce doesn't want to move.
Yeah, but
both parties.
Both parties. The organization has also said they want him to stay at first base. What?
They do.
I'm listening to Jason Stark.
Yeah, because they do. They do.
Yeah.
They want him happy. They want him happy.
He's not moving to the outfield to
He's
respond
not moving
to
the outfield.
To the
He's not
texter.
moving to the outfield. But they want him happy. It's sort of what I was saying with Trey Turner. They know Trey Turner. Trey Turner wasn't willing to move to second without causing a stink when he should be, because he stinks at shortstop. And the organization, because they're worried about Trey Turner's psyche and his how would he feel about it?
We got 7 more years of the psyche?
Yeah, get ready.
It's good.
Get ready.
Look, if you were playing MLB The Show, because Bryce Harper can play outfield, and there are more power bats at first base that are available. I mean, it's the reason why we had Pete Alonso conversations one year for the offseason. But that's just
that
not
Pete
where,
Alonso thing would look good.
Not where it's going to go. What else we got?
David checks in, said it doesn't matter who the Phillies trade for. They'll get swept in the second round of the playoffs by the eventual World Series champion following the suit of the Flyers and the Sixers.
Well, and that could happen because the Dodgers are the team that would do that. That is actually very possible. So Flyers, Sixers both swept by the teams that won the championship. That was a topic we talked about earlier. Does that make you feel any better? It doesn't.
It doesn't at all.
That does nothing for me. I know it does. Did anyone chime in on that? Because I know that does do stuff for people. It does absolutely nothing.
What do you hang a banner for that?
Yeah, we haven't had any texts of anyone who's making that.
That's good.
They're not feeling better.
All right, good.
It raises that brings it back.
All right, we got on the Phils then.
All right,
I know that's what people want to talk about because this was a very bad weekend for the Phillies. Even though they won a game, it was a bad weekend. You can't strike out that many times, too, dude. Like
they almost got perfect gamed.
Like this is this lineup, man, and that's why last week when we were talking about, 1 week ago, everybody thought this team stinks. Now this week they're a top 5 baseball team. I refuse to believe it. Well, yeah, that guy had the power. They had the Phillies at 6th. I refuse to believe it. That's way too high for a team whose bats just die way too often. They just die. How many times did they strike out yesterday? 15 times? No, 6 times yesterday. The Mizorowski game was 15 times. And then how many times did they strike out in the game that they won? I think they struck out close to 15 times that game, too.
Terrible.
11, 12, 15. They struck out 15 times twice this series.
That almost seems impossible to do.
And they won one of the games.
They did.
Scored 9 runs in one of those games. That was a wild game.
Yeah, that was
wild.
Yeah, it started off well by Aaron Nola. Couldn't even get through 5.
It's incredible.
They're in a rough spot. I'm sorry. They're in a really bad spot. And it sucks to say because they've turned the season around. They are still in contention for the division. They're a wild card team. They're going to be in the playoffs. And I have a shot every night that Wheeler, Sanchez, and Luzardo pitch. I have a shot every single night. I know that. But I can't ignore how inept this lineup is. And I can't ignore that I think the cupboard's very bare come trade deadline time. And, oh, by the way, I can't ignore how bare the cupboard is in my farm system. Go ahead.
Here's something you need to think about.
What year is it?
We'll get back to the text line 1 second. But, they've played, 3 series against NL contenders, true National League contenders. The Brewers, which you just saw, lost 2 out of 3, struck out 30 times over 2 games. The Dodgers on the road in L.A., lost 2 out of 3. Did not look overly competitive in that series. We'll call it 4 series because they played the Braves twice. Lost both of those series. Got their manager fired. You could say what you want about where their record is. The biggest worry for you, if you're trying to figure out the heads and tails of this roller coaster, is the teams you're playing that are playoff teams in the National League. And I'm not putting the Padres in that category, so don't give me the double sweep against them.
Yeah, I got you.
You've lost all of them.
Yeah, and you're not of their caliber. You're not. I mean, if you guys watch, and I know you guys mock the Brewers. The Brewers are such a better baseball team. They're better built. They play the game the right way. They're just a better baseball team. Imagine them if they had the money to spend.
Yeah.
That Dave Dombrowski's peed down the drain.
It would be
it's unbelievable.
It would be nice for him. All right, what do we got?
Mike from Oxford, New Jersey checks in and says, World Series and NLCS appearances aside, shouldn't the Pobo suffer the same fate as Daryl Morey after this season?
Yes.
He failed to develop any kind of farm system and player development, which he was entrusted to do. He relies on big contracts to aging veterans. Am I missing something as to why he shouldn't lose his job?
Daryl Morey set the Sixers in a really bad spot. It's why we're talking about shouldn't they trade contracts away just to get off of them. The Phillies are having the same conversation.
Yep.
You have a lot of long contracts that are here for many years.
They're horrible.
And look, Schwarber's still doing his thing. And Bryce Harper's playing really good baseball. And we got to get to that graphic. I'm sorry. Bryce Harper's playing really good baseball. But Turner's a mess. JT, nobody wanted back for that contract. And they brought him back. And he's kind of shown why that was a mistake. It's been horrible. By the way, the Bryce Harper graphic from On Patterson, we're going to talk to Tim Kelly next. It was a side-by-side of Nationals Harper and Phillies Harper.
Going into Saturday and Sunday. So before Saturday and Sunday's game, Harper played 927 games with the Nationals, 927 with the Phillies. He had 20 more hits in his Phillies tenure, 10 more home runs in his Phillies tenure. 47 more 47 more RBI in his Phillies tenure. He had less walks, 22 less walks in his Phillies tenure. The OPS is 900 to 909 in favor of the Phillies tenure. His WAR better with the Nats, 28-6 to 28-1, and 1 MVP with each. But those two numbers, and that's a 927 game stretch.
Yeah.
That is truly incredible.
That's
to
consistency,
speak to the consistency of his career. That's incredible because that is telling you that Bryce Harper has been just really, really consistent.
Yeah.
He is the peaks and the valleys really don't exist.
There's one thing that's missing.
World Series ring.
Yeah. That's the one because you got what you paid for. What you paid for was the face of a franchise and a guy that puts up those numbers.
Well, if you bought those numbers when he was a youngster and ascending, and he's kept those numbers.
Yeah. There's one thing missing, and it's the ring, and that sucks.
And it's hard to look at those numbers and say it's on him.
And I don't know. And I also don't look at Bryce Harper's postseasons and say it's on him.
No.
On the Phillies, I don't look at Bryce Harper's lack of postseason success here and say, oh, yeah, it's because of Harper being a choke job. No, I do not.
Yeah, I didn't understand that last year. There were There were a couple people doing that.
Now, he's had moments in the postseason where he stunk,
struck out.
but he also carried them.
Struck out against the Mets, big spot. The fly out against the D-backs, big spot. Trust me, I know it. But he's also had some of the bigger moments. All right, coming up next, Tim Kelly of On Patterson, where that incredible graphic was posted. We'll talk to him about the state of the Phillies. I think they're in a really bad spot because I don't know where they improve. Like anywhere. Trade deadline.
That's terrible.
Prospects. In-house.
Make us feel better, Tim
Maybe.
Kelly.
He'll join us next here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies shut out twice. I'm Connor Thomas. The Phillies dropped their series in Milwaukee, losing 2 games via the shutout. Yesterday, it was a 4-0 loss in the series finale. Christopher Sanchez gave up all 4 of those runs. He only went 5 2/3 innings in his start. It was one of his worst of the year. Meanwhile, the Phillies only were able to scrape out 4 hits themselves. Anthony Sanfilippo of On Patterson. We're going to talk to Tim Kelly of On Patterson coming up next. So don't go anywhere. But Ant San talked last week about questions about the sustainability of the way the Phillies are playing. And it is definitely a question right now.
I'm not certain that the way they're winning games is ultimately sustainable. Almost every game is super close. I just worry that that's going to come back and bite them at some point.
We'll see if they can get things back on track against the Marlins. They start a series with the Fish tonight in South Philadelphia, 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Zach Wheeler versus Ryan Gusto, the pitching matchup. The NBA and NHL finals finished up over the weekend. Knicks beat the Spurs 4-1. Hurricanes beat the Golden Knights 4-2. Team USA won their opening match of the World Cup group stage Friday night over Paraguay. They currently lead Group D. They'll play Australia on Friday. Tim Kelly, as we said, on Patterson, joins us next. This update is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. July 3rd, Xfinity Mobile Arena. Undefeated South Philly fighter Johnny Cannoli Gabarino fights former world champ Mike Richmond, plus 2 other world title fights. Tickets at bkfc.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Do we believe what he's doing right now? What do you think?
That's a rough question, Ricky.
Well, it's a loaded one, of course.
It is. The jury for me is still so out. I mean, the past week offered some reason to think it's still in there. Did we think that before? I don't know anybody who did. On the other hand, even if you look at this past week, it's a 241 batting average with 0 walks over the last 8 games. But there's 3 homers and a double in there. And I think within that, there's some signs this might not be the disaster than people thought it was. And like the reason to think that is his swing now is just totally different than it was in spring training and even what it was a few weeks ago. He's moved back in the box. He's opened up more than we've ever seen him. He's not pointing that bat at the pitcher anymore, which made his setup so long, so slow. I just don't know what it means yet. I keep thinking back to that 2023 postseason. I'm sure you guys remember it well. That dude homered 5 games in a row in the LCS and World Series. But since the second half of that next season, 2024, I can only find 2 other weeks like this one where he even hit 3 bombs in a week. So, let's see what the next week looks like. I would just say I still think he's going to get a lot of runway. I mean, there's no one literally to replace him out there. There's no star right-handed hitting right fielder they can go trade for.
So let's do that. Now, Andrew Salciunas has the day off today. It is not because of a clip that went viral from our show last week about Jalen Hurts. He's got regular vacation, but he was getting ripped because he said his number one question for the Eagles this year is about Jalen Hurts' performance at the quarterback position with the change in offense, Sean Mannion now taking over. What is your evaluation of that? Is that your number one question?
My number one question for this team this year would be if the offensive line can stay healthy and hold up. And it's not a very sexy question, right? Like, if the offensive line isn't healthy, we can't get Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson back to health. I don't care what plays Sean Mannion's calling. They're not going to have much of a chance. The offensive line has to be better. It has to be healthier. They've been the foundation of that team for so long. They've been responsible for so much success. We're talking about elite, all-time Eagle talents. So I don't say this in a critical way, but I say it in a way in which the offensive line has had to play through some injuries, and it's aging. And are they going to hold up and hold together? If they do, it's going to be a great season. If they don't, it's not. To me, that's where it starts.
Is the plan to keep Joel, and can you say with 100% certainty that Joel Embiid is back for 2026?
Yeah, Joel's ours right now. I've had great conversations with him. We FaceTimed. I'm actually going to see him in a couple days to kind of sit down in person with him. But, you know, we just got to get Joel on the court. You know, obviously when he plays, we're really good. He's still a dominant force. I mean, he can get 25 in his sleep. And I know he's self-motivated. You know, obviously he doesn't like the questions about him not being available. But he wants to play. He wants to be on the court, and that's on me. That's on our whole staff and Nick and the whole building to get him to his best self.
Presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
It is 9:32 here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5. The Fanatic will be joined by our man Tim Kelly of On Pattison momentarily.
Love him.
What do you got, John?
Love Tim. You ever stand next to another human being and go, okay, you're slightly inadequate, when you just look at them and you're like, dude, this person is just put together.
Yeah, I stand next to you all the time. I'm sure you feel that.
Yeah, but please, I met Tristan yesterday out at my niece's graduation party. Congratulations again to Nicole. This Tristan, veteran, ex-Marine, his wrists were double mine. He's just looks like he could just swat you into a coma.
Yeah.
And you're just like, dude, that'd be so cool. It'd be so cool to
get
just
swatted into a coma?
No, it'd be just so cool it'd be so cool to be able to just knock around. That'd be awesome.
After this Phillies weekend, I could go for a coma.
Yeah. It was not a good one. And I started the show telling everybody that they're in a horrible spot. And I don't know how much people want to hear that. But let's see what our man from On Pattison has to say about that. Tim Kelly joins us here on Kincade and Salciunas. What's up, Tim? Good morning.
What's going on, guys?
So you could potentially talk me off a ledge or make me feel worse. So it's up to you, Tim. Started the show this morning saying, the Phillies are in a horrible spot. I know that their starting pitching is great, at least 1 through 3. Duran is borderline unhittable. I know he blew the save the other day, but bottom line, the pitching department's for the most part settled. Bats, though, it's the same problem every single year. And, Tim, I'm trying to look at who's available or who could be available. Nobody's moving the needle for me. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a bad trade season in general because not a lot of guys wanted to be free agents this upcoming off season when there's labor uncertainty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and you look around at some of the big names people are floating around, and I don't think it's ridiculous to talk about Mike Trout or Byron Buxton or Ketel Marte, but all of them have full no-trade clauses. Trout and Buxton have been pretty adamant to this point that they want to spend their whole career with their current teams, and maybe they could be talked into changing, but I wouldn't say that's especially likely. So, yeah, it's not a great time to need that. And beyond that, the Phillies don't have a lot to offer right now. So, yeah, I think you're justified in feeling like there's needs to be addressed, and the Phillies are going to have a hard time doing it.
He didn't make me feel any better, John.
No, he didn't.
He didn't make me feel any better.
Kelly, if we're going to bring you on, do you not understand the assignment? Make people feel better about this team. They're a half game out. I don't understand it. I really don't understand how this is going on.
They're a half game out. I get it. I think they're going to win one of the wild card spots, and that's great. And it's remarkable that they've gotten back into this position based off of where they started. But if you're asking me, is the way that they're winning right now sustainable, I would say probably not, because they still have a negative run differential because games they're winning, it's all by 1 or 2 runs. You're putting so much stress right now on the top 6 players on your roster, Duran, Wheeler, Sanchez, Schwarber, Harper, and Marsh, and you have such a fall off after that in terms of reliability. You can't win every game in a 1-run save situation. So it's hard to balance the fact that they are winning, and you want to be positive about that with the fact that you look at how they're winning, and it doesn't seem like a formula for success over 162 and certainly into the playoffs.
Tim, you mentioned the Trout thing, and we don't have to dive deep into it, but what John and I have been talking about is really not having many pieces to move on from. Who within the Phillies organization, and I say organization including the big league club, who within the Phillies organization do you believe teams would say, all right, that guy could become available and we would try to acquire him and we would send him one of our top guys for it?
I think Gage Wood would be a guy that teams would I don't know with Trout specifically. Trout's complicated because he's older. He's had some injuries, and he's still got money remaining, although he's been tremendous this season. But I think Gage Wood would be a guy. I just don't know. Do you want to trade Gage Wood? Like, you're pretty thin on pitching. Even if you don't want to intend to use him at the majors this year, you could next year potentially. So, but you don't have a ton to offer. Like, you've graduated Painter and Crawford. Neither one of them's having a particularly good rookie season. And then you have Aiden Miller, who hasn't played baseball this year. And you were always going to have this gap after that group graduated, and you made some trades of other prospects the last couple of years. But it would have been easier, I think, to say, wow, you're kind of in a tight situation with prospects this year if Painter and Crawford were at the majors and really productive pieces for you, because then you'd have less needs. And also, if Aiden Miller was knocking on the door, he'd be another guy that you could potentially add midseason. And now it seems pretty unlikely. You're just kind of hoping he plays for the Iron Pigs at some point this year.
Yeah, I don't want to kill all the content that the Philadelphia press wants to have, and radio hosts, by the way, want to have. But I've looked at the prospective packages that teams could put together for like a Scooble when that's come up, or from a Trout and everything. And I'm going, the Phillies don't have the package to match what like the top 4 or 5 teams could offer for these teams. They don't have the guys. If they did, this team would look better at the major league level. They would have brought some of these prospects up.
Right. I think their best argument this trade season is going to be finding a guy with a lot of money owed and saying, we can't give you like as good of a package as other teams, but we can give you more financial relief. And that may work in certain cases, but you're also going to be taking on a deal that may not age well. And in terms of Scooble, as blasphemous as this sounds, especially because now the way Nola and Painter are pitching, you maybe do need to add a starter. I can't justify with these limited resources a starter being your biggest investment, though. So I think you need to spread the resources around, and the largest chunk of what you have, which, as we've said, isn't a great mix already, needs to go towards getting a bat for the middle of the order, and then maybe you add a veteran starter that is on an expiring deal, and just kind of hope that that's better than what you've gotten from Painter and Nola to this point.
Tim Kelly, Vaughn Patterson joining us here on Kincade and Salciunas. Tim, when it comes to Dave Dombrowski, other than, well, they have a shot 3 times a week with Wheeler, Sanchez, and we'll throw Luzardo in there as well. Has Dave Dombrowski done anything recently where you're saying that's a good job for the here and now, or for the future? Because we're talking about the prospects being pretty bleak. He doesn't really make me feel great about the future either.
I thought a year ago, and even more recently, that the minor league system was trending in a much better direction. Even if it wasn't good, that it was much better than how bleak it had been a few years ago. There's been some bad luck with the Aiden Miller injury. There's nothing Dave or anyone can do about that. I still think the jury is out on what Andrew Painter is going to be from a long-term perspective, but maybe there needs to be some readjusting of expectations. Justin Crawford had some impressive moments in April and has kind of struggled since then, and I'm a little perplexed by how quickly they took him out of the lineup against lefties. But, you do still have that top 6 is amazing, and a lot of those guys Dave acquired. So, and I do look around the sport and say the Phillies are hardly the only team struggling for right-handed hitters. It's an epidemic around the sport. If you have a kid now, have him be a right-handed hitter, because there is a lack of them. Everyone wanted 20 years ago to have their kid be a left-handed pitcher, and this is the results we're seeing now. So have your kid be a right-handed hitter. But no, there's definitely questions to be answered, and I think it's fair to wonder how he and the Phillies are going to do enough at this trade deadline, not only so the Phillies can get to the playoffs, but so the Phillies can compete with the Braves and the Dodgers and whoever else in the playoffs.
Do you believe the Phillies have it, Tim? Do you believe the Phillies can find it? Do you feel that energy that this team does have a potential switch, that they could go on a 3 or 4 week run where magic strikes?
I think a lot of it would have to come internally from where you're at. You need Trey Turner to go on a heater. That's really the guy that they need. And we saw it in 2023. He had a miserable season for a lot of it, and then the ovation and everything, and he had a 6-week stretch that made his numbers through the entire season look pretty good. So that's what it would have to be, and that Stott and Bohm continue to get better. And, yeah, I mean, that's where it would be. And the top-end talent that Dave Dombrowski's acquired for this roster is about as good as any on any club. You take the top 6 players, and they're producing, they're holding up their end of the bargain. You need other guys to step up and be part of that. And like I said, I just think you're running into an issue where you're winning now, and you may even win enough that you're going to be in the playoffs. It's just this formula feels like you're going to get to a point later this season where Joan Duran is out of gas, or you're in big trouble if one of the top 3 starters isn't healthy. So something needs to change for this to end any differently in October.
Tim, when you say about the top-line talent that Dave Dombrowski's acquired, it's like the best out there. Is there any of them that, if I had hired you with that payroll, that you couldn't have acquired? I mean, I'm not trying to be too flippant regarding Dave Dombrowski, but I don't know. He paid above market value for almost every single player he paid for. I don't think he ever got into a thing where strategically he had to outsmart somebody. He just paid a ton of money and threw a ton of money at guys that I don't really think he was in competition with.
Well, I think the Jesus Luzardo trade was a really good trade. They seem to have won that. And
I agree on trades, yeah. I mean, it's just the big-name guys that he's gotten, though. I think he just money-whipped people, didn't he?
Well, I think but the same is probably true when the Dodgers or the Mets sign somebody, too. That's an advantage you have when you have an ownership group that is willing to spend in a sport where a lot of the ownership groups aren't willing to spend. So it's smart to use that. And I say this as like a compliment, not only in Philly, in Detroit. Look how much Detroit used to spend when Dave Dombrowski was there, or Boston. Like, his greatest ability as an executive has been convincing ownership groups to spend more money than they do with a lot of other. He makes them feel confident enough that he's going to spend it in a way that is going to make the team successful. And in a lot of places it's worked, including here. You're just at a point now where you need a little bit more than that.
All right, last thing, Tim. If this week, Wednesday, is more the same for Andrew Painter, will Andrew Painter be pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies 1 week later?
I think it's a good question. I mean, you're at the point where even though you don't have a great option, you can't continue to do this. And I think there's been some starts, some appearances where you've seen some positives from Andrew Painter, but not enough. And his fastball, it looks flat and like he's not able to locate it where he wants to. So something has to give here pretty soon. Either he gets on a roll or he ends up going down, and Alan Ronhale or whoever comes up. But this is why I think they are at the point, even though I don't think Skubal is the guy to go get, that they're going to end up having to acquire a 4th starter, because in the playoffs you are going to need a 4th starter. Even though in some cases you may not need a 4th starter till the NLCS, if you're playing in a 2 or 3 game wild card series and you advance to the DS, you need a 4th starter to pitch game 1 or 2 of that series. So, and you need a 4th starter to get into the playoffs, period, first. So if Painter or Nola does not get going, that also becomes a need. And again, you're talking about, it's not a great year if you're the Phillies, both because of the market and because of where your farm system is at to make multiple trades.
Oh, that's what I was saying. It's,
hey, it's
6:05 this morning, Tim. Thanks, man. Appreciate the time.
We'll great information, Tim.
Talk to you again soon.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you, man.
There is Tim Kelly from On Passing. So I guess I wasn't overreacting at 6:05 this morning. My first day back from a couple of days off.
No.
Hitting you with the, hey, sorry to say it, but the Phillies are in a horrible spot, because who are you acquiring?
Dude, better have some storylines planned for the coming years, because it's coming.
All right, coming up next.
The storm is coming. What did they say on your Game of Thrones show?
Winter's coming.
Winter's coming.
Yeah, winter's coming.
Rewatching that with
Feels
Christy.
pretty hot right now.
Christy right now.
Yeah, winter's coming.
Coming up next, we preview Phillies Marlins. But we'll go around the room. If it's more the same, is this Andrew Painter's last start for now with the Phillies? We'll get into that next here on The Fanatic.
There is no reason to panic about the Jalen Carter contract situation. And lo and behold, John Kincade this morning did exactly what I thought he would.
Price is wrong.
Went on this morning. Bill's 100% wrong. We need to be concerned. If they don't get a contract in place in 6 weeks, literally, he said 6 weeks 4 times. In 6 weeks by training camp, Jalen Carter might hold in. He might show up and not participate. He might this, he might that, he might this. Guess what? I could die walking out of here.
I got a question.
That could happen too in the next 6 weeks. But I don't want people to panic, Ricky Bo. There is still 6 weeks to go. Yes, they are in negotiations with Jalen Carter. I was told by the Philadelphia Eagles they fully expect to get the contract done. And under the current NFLPA agreement, you can't hold out. We saw what happened to Hassan Reddick. You could go back to what happened with Le'Veon Bell. Jalen Carter's under contract for 2 more years. He's got this year. He's got next year under the 5th-year option. Yes, would you like them to get this deal done sooner rather than later? Of course you would. But on June 10th and now June 11th, to be trying to get all-out panic about this situation is absurd.
The Eagles have a culture. And it's really weird, though, what surprises me. And I go back to the first segment and you sort of saying to me, I don't care about all that stuff with Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo and everything. You don't value it. I do. I so value the mentality of having players that want to be football players over celebrities first. There is zero question in my mind, zero, that Jackson Dart loves being a celebrity and is enjoying being a celebrity. And to me, I think that's great for Eagles fans. I think it's awesome because he hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he's loving being a celebrity. Scadaboo cannot help himself but to be out and about being a celebrity, being spotted. Where has he been? What's he doing? What's he been? I love it. Let them be living that life. Where can we be? Where can we walk a red carpet? Where can we be seen? I will take life with Jalen Hurts, boring-ass Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley, who literally are as boring as white milk and saltine crackers. And I will I'll take it all day long because I think you win with players like that.
Begin a series with the Fish tonight. They play the Marlins. Tyler Phillips on the mound in game 2. Psychopath.
Gonna slap himself.
And you do not like
I root against him, yes. I know that he's a local guy. I know that he pitched well for the Phillies in that game against the Dodgers. I loved everything about him until the Marlins slapping himself in the face thing. I think you want to talk about performative. There's no way that he's real. So I root against him, yes.
Also, he went to Eustis, so it's like,
I root against him. And look, he's actually pitching really well for him out of the bullpen. I don't know, when did they turn him back to a starter? Any idea?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Because he was coming out of
Last year was
relief
out of the pen?
earlier. No, even this year he's been coming out of the pen. I don't know if they're trying to transition him back to a starter because that's what he came up as with the Phillies. He came up as a starter. Remember, he threw the complete game shutout against the Dodgers.
I talked to him twice in his Phillies tenure.
Yeah.
I found him to be nothing but incredibly charming.
No, seems like a nice guy.
I could never root against him. Why are you rooting against him?
I hope he fails. I root against him for the smacking in the face thing. Great people of Lumberton, New Jersey. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, if he was really Lumberton, he would have gone to RV.
Well, I also rooted against Jojo Romero.
Because you didn't like the Red Bull
The Red
thing.
Bull can guy. Yeah, like, let me show that.
Yeah, if anybody does anything but walk into from the bullpen slowly,
I hate them.
Andrew Salciunas
Yeah,
hates
exactly.
you.
I automatically hate them. But he gets the Game 2 star against Luzardo. Phils gets Zach Wheeler today against that Ryan Gusto for the Marlins. That's not a real person. Luzardo Phillips Game 2, and then it's Painter Alcantara Game 3, the 1 o'clock start. So, is Andrew Painter pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies next week? I say no.
I also say no.
John?
I say yes.
And is it because he pitches well Wednesday or because you think the Phillies won't get out of their own way?
Because the Phillies won't get out of their own way.
They're setting this kid up to fail then if they do that.
I think it's disgraceful. Well, I also think it's a disgrace to their fan base, that they're subjecting the fan base to it. Because if you're going to mock the organization and say, oh, they keep trotting out Taiwan Walker and it's just a scheduled loss and this is what they're going to do. This is what it is. This is what it is.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So it's the same thing.
So he pitches Wednesday against the Marlins. He would then pitch again against the Nationals. So he has the chance of the lesser opponents to try to, bounce back a little bit here. But that hasn't necessarily worked out for him. The White Sox crushed him.
By the way, the White Sox, again, against the Dodgers this weekend, played really well.
Yeah.
Against the Braves, played well.
But they're right around a 500 team, just like the Nationals and Marlins are. So, I can't even say, all right, it's not the old Nationals and the old Marlins.
No.
They're 15 games under 500.
The Nationals are a game and a half behind the Phillies. The Marlins are 2.5 behind the Phillies.
It's scrappy, man.
The Phillies aren't that much better than these teams.
Yeah.
A bad week and the Phillies are right there. Remember too, the Phillies are closer to the Mets than they are to the Braves.
All right. Is Painter sent down or skip a start?
Sent down. They already tried the opener thing and it didn't work.
Yeah.
They would send him down.
That didn't work.
And boy, did Ricky Battalico, again, our own Ricky Battalico. The respect I have for Ricky Battalico as an ex-athlete, who so many ex-athletes get into this business and then they just kiss ass. And Ricky Battalico, when he found out the other day they were doing the opener thing to try to assuage the gentle psyche of Andrew Painter.
You know why?
He went off. When he found out about it, it was awesome radio. That's why you always want to be listening to Unfiltered. It was awesome radio. And he was just like, this is ridiculous.
They probably did it because he pitched well in the migraine game, remember?
Yeah,
And he
try
said-
something, right?
Remember,
This is
he
ridiculous.
pitched well. He didn't start because the migraine kept him from getting there on time, and then he ended up pitching well. So maybe that's what they thought
Maybe he
would
just
work.
needs a headache.
Maybe he needs
Crush
to be
a couple
sent down.
beers, hungover.
Connor, he is the headache.
All right, everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Middays with Marks comes right next here on The Fanatic.